this one, haven't you? You've been waiting for this one. What's good, everybody? Welcome into a very special live episode of the Coach and Bro Show.
What's up, guys? I'm live. This is a PWT run-in. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me in chat. Wrestle Arrival says, love your commentaries and spotlight on the indies. Thank you for everything you do, bro. Bro, I really try to shine light on the indies and whatnot. Everybody, let me know if you can hear me. I want to EFAP this. I know it's just a last minute. Oh, Phil Marks is live. I'm Phil Marks. Hit the like button, all that good stuff. I was just like, let's do a PWT run-in. We haven't done one in a while. And thank you, Lincoln. We're good on audio over here. Thank you. So yeah, like, subscribe, super chat, all that good shit. Patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes. I know it's out of nowhere. I just decided. I was like, I'm up. I ain't doing shit. Let's I'm watching the quartering getting felted on Kino Casino. I might as well do a little feltoning of myself here of Tony Khan in this Coach and Bro interview. So bear with me as I'm posting about it on the other channel, just so other people know that it's going down. And yeah, I can't wait for this. I don't know like how long the preamble's going to be. I don't know whenever Tone shows up. Bro, let me tell you about what I'm going to tell you about. Okay, Phil Marks is okay. I'm reacting live. Just making a post, guys. This is very last minute. Live to the Tony Khan interview on Coach and Bro. Fire emoji. You got to do the fire emoji, right, guys? So TK is going to talk a bunch of BS here. I wanted to come and react live with you guys. And I'm going to post this on the other channel right now, just so people can see there that we are, in fact, live from Cheyenne tonight. Live, baby, live. Live, baby, live. Okay, so Tony Khan is here. Let's listen in.
You and kind of take the handcuffs off and for the audience to get to know you as well. Is that cool?
Yeah, it sounds great. I really appreciate the opportunity. I thank you guys for having me on, and
it's
I'm excited
great
to talk with you. Thanks for talking about wrestling with me, and you both certainly have tons of great experience. And like you said, I'm excited to learn from you guys and hear what you think.
Awesome. Go ahead.
So already we're EFAPing this, and this is what's funny, right? So I'm going to pause a bunch. I don't know, I'm sorry if people get upset and they just want to listen to it through. We're doing a Phil Marks EFAP, okay? So here's the thing. Automatically, Tone goes, I'm excited to talk wrestling with you guys. Okay, their whole marketing of this already has been, we're going to talk the business of pro wrestling and get a sense for how he does business. Tone's like, oh, pro wrestling.
Mr. Russo, kick us off.
Yeah, Tony, I was thinking of the first question that can kind of really open up the interview. And I really believe this is it. Obviously, when you started AEW, you had goals.
Oh, God.
Obviously, you have goals today. I would love to know what were the original goals when you opened the company, and what are those goals in 2026?
Thank you, Vince. I really appreciate you asking. I wanted to launch a wrestling promotion.
That's such a non-question.
Who wanted to see wrestling at that time brought back to TNT and TBS.
No, see, so he wanted to service
TNT and TBS.
So he wanted to service people who wanted to see wrestling on TBS and TNT. That was his goal. Do you believe that for 1 second? That's such a bad, shitty question. The first question should be, Tone, there's been ups and downs year over year. You can look at numbers. There's a bunch of numbers we don't see. Do you not understand how co-opting Dave Meltzer and phoning him on the phone during his broadcasts and Dave stooging that you fucking said all of these things to him in the past about doing better shows for him? Do you not see how that's a bad look for AEW? Do you not understand that? And why do you continue? You don't even have to be a dick about it. Why do you continue to go in that direction when clearly it's been a black eye on AEW? What was your plan? Bro, what was your plan in WCW? Sorry, let's go ahead.
American staple. And I also believe there was a huge international audience. I've spent a lot of my
a
time
huge international audience that he hasn't fucking cultivated. He doesn't know how to get an international. Look at the Wembley ticket sales already. International audience. Pardon me, I said office. International audience that WWE has procured while you've been fucking around.
England, living in London and spending time around England, traveling for football. And I know there's a great wrestling audience there. So at the very beginning, when we launched, we had these great media partners, TBS, TNT, and ITV. And all of them have a great history of wrestling.
I don't even think they're on those anymore.
Working with these companies, my goal is to keep the company running strong and producing shows that the fans like. And that's
how
why
that's
I'm really
a non-answer.
happy that we've been able to have AEW grow, expand, add more TV and more media.
Now, this is why Coach and Bro automatic L. Let me stop you there, Tone. Let me stop you right there. You have to stop him when he starts just spurging, going, ITV and Well, hold on now. Wembley, you're saying business strong. It's down. The first day ticket sales are down every time you've gone. Do you think that, you see your competition out there really as a stranglehold on the international market? You've kind of flip-flopped around. Now my AEW is rolled out. Do you not see how you haven't really achieved that yet? And has your goal shifted from that? Tone's just going to plug shit. This is why Coach and Bro are like, oh, this is going to do numbers.
Partners
Fuck
all over
you.
the world.
Tony, and I want to help you out because I want you to connect with the audience. Can you bring your eyes down because you're looking off the camera? No, to your right. Look, there you go. Right there. That's right at us. Perfect. So one of the things, though.
Oh, my God, Coach, that's such a boomer thing. Hey, guess what? No one cares about that, huh? It's the internet. I'm not a shark. I'm a man, brudda, for 2. What's up, buddy? Thank you so much. Let's go.
That I learned and we learned in wrestling is that the boys are the boys and the executives are the executives. You chose early on to have the boys be EVPs. How did that, or how has that gone? And have you changed your mindset on having the likes of Kenny Omega, a Young Bucks, a Chris Jericho be a part of that executive tree?
Shit.
Well, I'm really excited you asked. We've got wrestlers that have been with us from the very beginning.
This is a fucking 7-year-old question.
We've got staff that have been with us from the very beginning.
Whoa!
Some people who represent both the wrestling side.
What the fuck are
and the
these guys
side.
doing?
Those are all great people. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks have been executive vice presidents.
Oh, they're
here since
great.
day one.
Everything's great.
We were really excited to announce their launch. And without the Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega match in the Tokyo Dome in 2018, I'm not sure I would have believed that the economy and the possibilities were there. But when I saw how much really Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega.
He asked about them being EVPs. And then again, he brings up Jericho because Jericho is here. I'll give them a like because Jericho is low key, has like EVP pull, but I don't think he has an official title. And I've been saying this for fucking ever, and Tone lets it slip. And these 2 old motherfuckers are sitting there going, so what's it like having wrestlers as EVPs? Buddy, 7 years ago is when you asked this question.
We're able to
we're just buttering him up, Phil.
With really, in some ways, I thought one hand tied behind their back and have so much interest in audience for what they were doing in 2018 in New Japan Pro Wrestling, a company that you guys are very familiar with. Sure. For me, I love working with different sports, but for me, wrestling's always been my favorite thing. So having those guys involved, you mentioned Kenny Omega, Young Bucks as EVPs, Chris Jericho here from the very beginning. They're all instrumental in the creation of AEW. I wouldn't be here without those guys, and they're important to us today.
But I want you to get specific for me because a lot of
fans, thank you, Coach. It's like, what are you talking? What does that mean?
Fans want to know. You kind of broad strokes, but what do they actually do when it comes to executive work outside of their talent work?
Well, it's different in those cases. In Kenny and the Young Bucks case, they had those titles from the very beginning, and they've been very involved in different aspects of the company, creating some of our pay-per-view events from the very beginning.
Making a video game that nobody played. It's been great. I swear to God.
Together to really put the elite in all elite wrestling, and a lot of the ideas we had from the very beginning to launch this company came off the back of the work that the guys had done before AEW started. They built a huge fan base all over the world. Ring of Honor is a company where they had worked New Japan Pro Wrestling. They built a legacy, and I knew there would be a huge audience for pro wrestling if I brought these stars in. So they're very involved today in the company in different aspects. Kenny Omega has been involved in different digital projects for us, but also very involved on the wrestling side. And the Young Bucks to this day are a huge part of the wrestling show. Chris Jericho came back to AEW after being off the show.
Keeps bringing up Jericho again. Chat, go back. When I've told you, motherfuckers, I wouldn't be shocked if Jericho owns a couple percent, and I've said it in the past. He has EVP shit, but it's just not an official title, I don't think. But yeah, fucking Tony McMahon, man, just stooging it.
Show for a while, but Chris
also using Jericho because he's trying to steer the conversation to Jericho. Well, let me ask you about Jericho. That's what he wants them to do, and also it's erasing Cody Rhodes.
A part of the AEW. We would not have gotten into this position without him. He's instrumental in the launch of AEW. So I was really excited for Chris to be able to return to AEW in his hometown, Winnipeg, and get a great reaction and help us get, I think, some good buzz for what has been really strong viewership for us. Our biggest viewership in a couple of years, which is always a good thing in pro wrestling. We've been really enjoying it. And for me, I think having...
Stop him. Go, whoa, bro. Let me tell you my next question, bro. For real, stop this asshole. He's just... he's spiraling now. He's losing
a lot of people with experience in wrestling is really helpful, especially at the formation of the company in getting the wrestling TV show going.
You know, Tony, I don't want to harp on this question, but being in the business as Coach and I got to push back on something based on my experience. Okay. Tony, I have always said this. Regardless of what company I worked with. When you have a talent, whether it's a current talent or a former talent in management, there's going to be issues because wrestlers, you know, let's face it, Tony, and listen, it's a little different.
Okay. Fucking shout out Vince Russo for saying it, bro. Shout him out for saying it. And Tone is going to sit there and be like, well, there is no problems. Meanwhile, you have fucking... the Bucks sending Jack Perry to Collision, getting in brawls with fucking CM Punk. You had Kenny Omega involved in a brawl. You had him do the video game thing. You had the women's division. Everyone's like, what the fuck happened? Right? You had all of these problems where people got hired who were people's friends, and then Andrade's smacking them, and Eddie Kingston's got problems with people. You had the fucking merch. You had to fire the wife and shit because the merch was AI-generated slop. Buddy, shout out Vince Russo for calling this out.
Because you got wrestlers on the contract, but a lot of wrestlers came up as independent contractors. So what happens is that makes it every man for himself. So now all of a sudden, if you've got a talent in a management position like that, he may have heat with other talent. There may be some old baggage there. Man, Tony, I'm sure at some point you had to run into that.
Well, you know, Vince, I think in every walk of executive life, there's going to be different people and different backgrounds. And always, you know, in business, there's issues every day. And that's what's great about pro wrestling. It's the only sport that goes year-round.
But listen, you want, as a good businessman, you want to like limit those issues, right? You want to control this shit. And how do you do that? You don't do that by letting the boys be executives, as proven throughout the history of pro wrestling over the last 100 years, Tone. So you're trying to make like a square wheel. You're trying to fit like a square peg into a round hole. But you're like, oh, yeah, I mean, if we just cut one of the edges off here, get rid of Rhodes, now we can kind of fit it in better. It's 100 years of the boys fucking up when they're in positions of power for the Fed they work for.
Vince, you know the workload better than anybody of what it takes to do this 52 weeks a year, to put on new shows every week and multiple shows. And for me, I like leaning on a lot of wrestling experience. But for me, I also am really comfortable now after all these years in my own ideas. And I like working with people. But, you know, I found a good rule of thumb is doing the ideas I believe in. And I've always found the more involved and the more connected I am with every aspect of the show, the better I feel about it. And right now, we're on a really good run of shows that have been really well received.
Okay, they need to stop with the fucking it flips away and then it's like the 3-screen just cut to the 1, cut to the 3. That's all you got to fucking do. We don't need a flip away graphic. This isn't Barney the fucking dinosaur where we're transitioning to people finger painting after he sings a fucking I love my parents song. You motherfucker, this isn't 1993. Okay? But that's the first thing. Second thing, what was he just talking about there? I completely forget because I was going off on the production, but like he was talking about how he always, oh yeah, this is what he said. When he's mostly attached to mostly everything is where he's always felt the best. That's the biggest problem, Tone. So he's just standing here and they better go, but that's been the problem, Tone.
The best guy is Tony Khan.
This is why everybody shitted on you for so long.
By our fans. And I think that's important. You know, in any walk of life, there's different flavors of ice cream. There's different types of music.
Get some new flavor in your ear.
Different people like different things. But I feel like for the AEW fans, we've had a great group of fans that have supported the show. We've been able to make new fans along the way, bring fans back. You know, as you know, 7 years on television now, as we approach that 7-year anniversary, it's a long time. And
so many flavors of ice cream. There's a chocolate mint. There's Rocky Road. There's a Tekla.
To have people that have been a part of it from the very beginning, that's a special thing. Because in sports, to have executives, coaches, players to last 7
French vanilla butter pecan chocolate deluxe. And of course, the RZA, the Jizza, the OTB.
seasons on a team, and to have a good core of them, that's a pretty special thing. And Coach, you work in sports in addition to wrestling, so you see this from the sports side too. To have a team that's had leadership, and to have, in my case, the CEO and president, to have a lot of the executives and coaches, and a lot of great wrestlers that are still thriving after 7 years, but also have a lot of new, fresh blood that we brought in, new, fresh faces, and an exciting company right now. That's an exciting thing after 7 years.
There's no doubt, and I'm so glad you brought both of those things up, because I think you just said you like to do things from your perspective, which is awesome. And I will give you credit that you work in the office of Jacksonville. Your dad owns that, and then you started a wrestling company.
Look, he didn't like, oh, he just felt it, Todd. Let's go. He didn't like that he said your dad owns that. Oh, wait, Coach actually rules. Hold on. Coach is actually cooking here a little bit. Let's see if he presses him.
Very, very difficult to do. But with that being said, it allows you to be pulled very, very thin. A lot of fans, because we polled them and said, what do you guys want to know from Tony Khan? And one of the biggest things that they wanted to know is when we're seeing these matches and these decisions and all those types of things, because you have so many things going on, do you have a group of people around you? Are you signing off on
Look at
all of
Tone,
these
like,
decisions?
what is Tone doing? Why is he all like tweaking out? No?
And because the wrestling we grew up in, there was a whole room of writers, because it's very hard to be as creative as one person. What is your scenario or situation like?
Yeah, I have a number of people.
Don't ask him. No, see, Coach was on the right path, then he just veered. He just saw the fork in the road. He veered right. You know, he should have went left. He's like, what's your situation? Like, we know. Now, hopefully, Coach hits him with a follow-up. But, like, that was going down the right path of, dude, you're spread too thin. I was in WWE. Vince McMahon was spread too thin. That was largely a criticism. What makes you, now not to compare you to Vince, but what makes you think this is like, maybe not the correct thing to do, or what makes you think that, but do you not see that some people that get told they're criticizing you in bad faith are pointing things like this out, and it maybe gets cluttered up and muddied up with the rest of the criticisms? But like that, I think, is an important one you should consider. Do you ever consider that? You know, he was on the right path, but then he just is like, fucking, what's your situation? How many writers you got in the room with you? And it's just Will Washington talking to it, who's got his ear. It's just his yes man.
Work with me in different aspects, whether it's helping put together the announcing, the on-camera segments, putting together backstage segments. But for me, I try to put together an outline of what I want every week for the specific show, segment by segment. And I think it's good when I'm more involved in it. I definitely see a correlation after 7 years where the fans can tell and want me to be very engaged. And also, a lot of it is making sure it's quality control. And
oh man,
you know,
there's zero quality
sport,
control.
You know,
in
there
AEW.
might be a play that somebody would bring in to the office that might not work for a certain reason. There might be an idea going into a free agency or a draft that there might not be a total agreement about. And I think having a process where I, you know, am able to be involved over the years, the more I like to call it in the weeds, as the fans have come to describe it. The more I do that, the better the show seems to be received. So I try to stay involved, and that might mean, you know, whether it's talking to different wrestlers about the interviews going into the matches, about what's going to happen in the match. That's all aspects of a wrestling show. And to me, every aspect of the wrestling show under the sun, the showrunner being involved in it is good. Vince, you've had tons of experience working in pro wrestling in different companies, different shows. And I'm sure that you've had different experiences, some shows that maybe you put together on your own and then came in and talked to people about, and some.
My favorite is how Dave was coping over this. He's like, oh, I don't get it. I don't get why you'd listen to people with differing opinions, and consider what they have to say. They're just bad faith grifters. And it's like, listen, Vince Russo might be bad faith in a lot of things, but I don't think he's ever criticized Tone. I don't think Coachman's ever criticized Tone in a way that was bad faith. And I don't even think either of them have really gone hard. Like Vince Russo at one point was like, Tony's a mark, bro. But then he's just like, I haven't watched it in 5 years. But it's so funny how Dave, like, he just stooges himself, and we'll cover it on Thursday, I'm sure. But Dave is just like melting. I don't know why you'd go and listen to these people. They're just bad faith. And I don't know why you'd listen to people who just attack you and stuff. And it's like, well, that's not what they do, Dave. You don't even listen because you're too fucking afraid of the truth. And it's just funny how he's trying to be all defensive for Tone, and I actually give Tone props for coming on here. But this is a nothing burger answers like we thought.
That you wrote in a room with a lot of people, and I imagine that's a different process for you, right? Versus how you might do one show versus another show.
Well, I mean, honestly, I just had my own way of doing things, and I kind of did it that way all the time. But we're all different. We all do things differently. But Tony, listen, I'm gonna warn you first. This is a four-seamer coming right at your head, Tony. This ain't a softball. Because this is a big pet peeve of mine, Tony. Okay. You got to help me out with this.
He tries to look
because I honestly believe overall, this has hurt the wrestling business tremendously. You brought up sports, okay? Jaguars. Tony, I have been a fan of the San Francisco Giants for 55 years, okay? I am an avid fan. I know everything about this team. I have a website.
I have every piece of memorabilia, bro. I assure you.
Presence. I've got 75,000.
Get to the point already.
Followers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, I am a fan. I've never been in a locker room. I've never interviewed players. I've never interviewed managers. I am a fan, and I know I am a fan. Now, Tony, you talk about the Jaguars. Jaguars have post-game press conferences. Who's at those post-game press conferences? Professionals. What I'm talking about are people with credentials, people with experience, people with a resume, people.
Waste of a question. Russo's trying to make the point like, oh, why do you let phony journalists in there, bro? And maybe this is slowly like Vaseline and oiling Tony up for like the inevitable Dave Meltzer questions, possibly. But this is a nothing burger. Wrestling's not real. Right? Like wrestling's not fake. Like It's dirt sheet, the people who cover it. You're never going to get like Ariel Helwani seriously covering it. He's going to be like, oh, this is fun. We're working and shit. It's never like, it's the way you cover like scripted television. And like, how real are those journos? How real are the people who work at fucking Screen Rant and these IGN and shit? They're fucking nerds who like movies and shit. Nothing wrong with that, but how like seriously, journalistically, integrity are these people, you know?
That have been around the NFL forever. Not fans. These guys are not fans walking into a press conference. So, Tony, I know you got it from Japan, but you started with these scrums. And I'm going to be as blunt as I can be.
He's got a cup with a T on it. 2-cup tone. A T for 2-cup tone. A T for 2.
Who's at those post-game press conferences?
Look, we got to pause it on.
What I'm talking about are people with credentials, people with experience, people with a resume, people that have been around the NFL forever. Not fans. These guys are not fans walking into a press conference. So, Tony, I know you got it from Japan, but you started with these scrums. And I'm going to be...
Tone. Oh, my God. That is absolutely spectacular. Triple cup tone. And even Tone laughed at Russo. Was like, are you fucking serious, bro? Like, obviously, the journalists aren't real at the press.
As blunt as I can be, because I've seen a lot of these scrums. Okay, because Tony,
I haven't watched AEW in 5 years, but bro, let me tell you about the myriad of scrums I have watched. Jesus Christ, Russo. He should have just left it to Coach. Coach is like, dude, you're fucking this up.
We love the hugging. We love when people come in and you hug them. We get a big kick out of that. So we watch the scrums. But Tony, here's my problem. We got a lot of fans in there, Tony, a lot of fans, and a lot of people are in there asking you questions, and the
T is for Tony. It's good enough for me.
Talent questions, because they got a presence on social media. They've got, 100,000 followers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, they're fans. They're not.
Hey, what's the question, asshole? You brought up the hugging. That's a whole separate thing. You just throw that out there near the end. And Tone, lastly, what's with the hugging? I mean, come on. That's when you do that. And then you kind of make light of it, but see if he gives you something honest out of like with his guard down. Come on, man. Like, this is just fucking Bush League amateur hour from Russo. And I knew he was just going to be, let me tell you, bro. I knew he was going to do this. And it's like, so what's the question? Now Tone can just give some bibble babble bullshit answer addressing one of the 12 things he brought up in the one question. Fuck.
Professionals. They act like fans. My problem with this is I believe we have made these fans feel like they are part of the business. Tony, they're not part of the business, especially wrestling. Wrestling has always been a closed fraternity, and it's been very, very special. We have literally let fans feel they are now a part of our business, and I really feel that has made the wrestling.
Coach, cut him off. Stop him. He's fucking looping. He made 17 points. He's like pitching for a job with Tone. He's pitching Tone. Bro, I can take you to the promised land.
Business lose mystique. I feel that has made the wrestling business lose credibility. I feel that it has done way more harm than good. And I think that's one of the reasons why the WWE stopped doing them. There are other reasons, but I think that's part of it. But Tony, I have
Vince, you're looping. You're spiraling, buddy. This isn't your interview. No one gives a fuck what you think, or they would have asked you. They would have asked you. It would have been the Coach and Bro interview in the Bro today.
To get your spin on that because I just feel like the door is open. Hey, anybody, you got a website, you got 100,000 followers, you got a podcast? Yeah, come on in and ask MJF any question you want to ask him. That doesn't happen anywhere else, Tony.
It's a very interesting point you bring up, Vince, but I think that, first of all, there's a difference between working in one job in wrestling versus another job in wrestling. There's a difference between being a wrestling fan versus working in the wrestling industry year round. But I do think that the lines get blurred. Absolutely.
Blurred
and
lines.
The lines get blurred more than ever. And absolutely, you mentioned people with big followings and medium-sized followings or small followings. And
Tone couldn't work a shoot if he worked at a gun range, okay?
People from all different backgrounds. I think it's good. All these people are connected to wrestling from different walks of life. You know,
but Tony, let me jump in. What he's saying
God,
is that when you have a fan come in, a fan's going to ask you in particular a question so you don't get upset with him or you. So
what are we beating around the bush? Just say fucking bro. You don't get asked real questions. What's with the softball questions at the thing? You let in people that you've sort of co-opted, like you will agree to that, right? And it's all good because it's a work, but you would agree, right? You get softball questions like this one because I can't just say what the fuck I'm trying to say. Moving along.
You are nice to them. And I spent 11 years at ESPN. That's not a reporter.
Sure.
A reporter is asking Tony Khan, why did you have a needle through a cheek tonight and getting a straight answer? That's what a reporter does.
I appreciate that. And to be fair, the outlets that some of the legitimate journalists in wrestling work for and some of the people who walk the line, that's one of the interesting things. There's shades of gray among some of these outlets.
Tone is right. I'm actually with Tone on this, okay? He's right. They are fucking marks. When you get someone in the Ariel Helwani, he goes, oh, yeah, he has like fun with the wrestlers. Whereas at UFC, they tried to fucking ban him. They did ban him. He's now unbanned, but he just doesn't go to these events at the press conferences because Dana White fucking hates him and just shoots him down anytime he asks a real question, for instance. But the thing is like, it's pro wrestling. So what do you expect? And I'll say this. Tone did get asked about like the allegations and the NDAs or whatever while he was wearing that fur hat and the glasses looking like an asshole. Now, he made himself look like an asshole in that moment, but they at least asked him, you know? So, and then, yes, Tone kind of got away from that. And why wouldn't you? It's kayfabe. I don't blame him. I don't spurg out when they don't ask real questions. The post AEW pressers, like, it kind of fell off. Let's be honest. Like, they're not as fun as they were the first few years because we know what the setup is. It's just kind of fake and phony. So when you're going to work one on your show at the end of Dynamite, like you did with Hangman and MJF, it didn't work, but like, okay, you're staging a press conference. That's not the first time. WWE's done that with the FBI and shit and expected people to believe. Then they had to switch it to the FIB or whatever. And you can like work a weigh in, you know, we're weighing in, and it's WWE did that when Matt Hardy was trying to get in the cruiserweight division, drop down to 205. Cody Rhodes did that with Anthony Ogogo. I believe, or maybe Chris Jericho, maybe both of them in AEW. So you can do that as well. But Tone is actually right. There's like a line where some of these guys think they're working and that they're like playing along and they're part of the show. The problem is that today you're not. You can't even do a comedy show like mine without retards melting down and going, oh, actually, the fact of this thing that you were fantasy mark booking it's just like people expect and this is the other problem. If you're like Sean Ross Sapp, you melt down whenever someone questions your sources or if you're legit, but then in your bio, you want to put, I'm not a journalist, or like Dave Meltzer. He just wants to cop out and pretend like the things he says on Twitter, he expects you to watch and read everything he ever says. But then if he says something on his pod that is wrong, then he expects you to read his fucking tweet to get the nigh omnipotent, impeccable, perfect, 100% without flaw news or whatever the fuck, right? And And that's the problem. These journalists want to front like they're fucking serious, but then the problem is, no, you all toe the line of workers. You guys are all trying to pretend like you work. Some of them literally get in the ring and shit like that. So that's a fucking big problem, and Tone leans into that. And that's part of the sicko culture shit, the IWC shit. And that's not good, but it's like, he is right in that they're just workers. So I don't know if that's a very good question to even waste your time asking. I don't know if me breaking this down even matters, but Vince Russo just wasted 7 minutes of everyone's time.
It's not all the worldwide leaders in journalism and sports journalism competing for these spots. I think what's interesting to me, Coach and Vince, is I generally have said, I'll answer every question. I'll stay until everybody's gotten to ask something. And I want to hear everyone's questions. And I'm always open to hear what everyone thinks. And I hear what you're saying, that obviously fans of wrestling are going to receive wrestling positively. But those are also a lot of the people who've chosen to cover wrestling. So I think it's good. And I want to encourage people to cover wrestling and share their thoughts, whatever they may be. And I think we all have different opinions on wrestling. But that's one of the things that makes it great, is it brings so many different people all over the world together so consistently every week, all year, forever.
But Joe, I got to ask you this, and then we'll move on, Tony.
Forever, then now together forever.
So, Tony, are you saying if I am a fan of the Jacksonville Jaguars and I got a Jacksonville Jaguar site and I've got 100,000 people on that site, are you going to let me into the post-game press conference?
I do think, Vince, that the line to cover the team between some of the fan blogs and some of the reporting, that line in all sports is changing. You see huge followings for some of these fan sites and fan blogs. So I don't think that's exclusive to wrestling, where you're seeing people that have come from being big fans of a team or a sport. They have a Patreon, or they have a website or a blog, or all of the above.
This is the absolute worst. Vince Russo just derailed everything.
They have a social media presence.
He's trying to be he's trying to do like a gotcha on the dirt sheet, Mark. We're castrating the marks here. And like, shout out fucking Vinny Rue and Jeff Lane. And I'm not fucking hating, but I'm kind of hating, because it's like, buddy, this is like who cares? Yes, the fucking dirt sheets are marks for themselves, and they think that they're part of the fucking show, and they ask Tone softballs. This is a softball to ask him this, because it's just a non-thing it's just an inconsequential answer from Tone at the end, right? Yeah, they kind of work. I mean, yeah, there's lots of fans who think they're journalists now. Yeah, the fuck are we like?
Happening all over the world. It's happening in England with the Premier League. I think there's aspects of that in the NFL. You see some of these big fan blogs where they do get more and more access to the team. So I think it's a really interesting, nuanced point you're bringing up, Vince. But Coach, you may have seen some of that too, where some of the faces in the press room in sports changed also.
They certainly did change. There's no doubt about it. And I think, I do agree with you. I think it has changed over time, but I do think that it would serve you better, and it would serve the wrestling business better if we had the Chris Van Vliets in the room that are going to ask. The questions should not be fluff. Sometimes,
right, but here's the thing, and I love Giga Chad Van Vliet. I'm his number one Glazer, his number one Nikki Glazer, dude. Here's the problem with Giga Chad, is that he ain't gonna ask the pressing hard questions either, because he knows this is what Van Vliet does really well. He reads people. He knows how to flow with people. He's not going to ask those really tough questions, because he is not going to jeopardize the ability to get guests on his fucking show for that. His show is bigger for him than him interviewing Tony Khan at a press conference is for him. Do you know what I mean? Him doing Insight is a bigger career move for him and not rocking the boat than it is for him to press Tony Khan. I truly believe that.
Fans, and this is one of the reasons we're excited to have you on today, is because I think it's going to help you as a really hardcore CEO to not always dance around a question, but answer it directly, because that can help you, because that's who I learned from. And I think that today is a good step forward for you and for us. So with that being said, and for those of you that are just joining us right now, of course, we're joined by Tony Khan, President and CEO of AEW. I want to talk about Jericho for a second.
It's you.
Because he was on TV April 9th of 2025, and did not hear from him at all.
Oh, buddy. Now we're talking about Jericho. Wah, wah. Now it just turned into Ariel Helwani. Wah, 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 wah.
Until last week. And so the rumor mill was going absolutely crazy.
Who cares what he paid him and he went to work.
You
he
were
went
asked
back
about
to work.
Jericho. And you do a really good job of talking about Jericho other than what's actually going on.
Oh, no.
Tell us, how close was he to going to WWE?
Oh, my.
And
how would he know? How would Tone know? How would Tone know how close Jericho was to going to fucking WWE? How would he really know unless he's Professor Xavier and can read his fucking mind? What the fuck? I knew Vince Russo was going to derail this off into the weeds. There's so much that got glossed over because Russo bunched one question, 8 questions into one question, and then just started giving his opinion. And then fucking Tone just got away with some bullshit. And then now they're just off on some bullshit. How close was Jericho to WWE? He's not fucking Triple H. He doesn't know. He's not a mind reader.
Specifically, do you want his role at 55 years of age to be?
Well, I've always wanted Chris to be a part of AEW from the very beginning, and I'm really glad that Chris is a part of AEW going forward. He always will be. And I can't say with any certainty. I do know Chris had a choice and he wanted to be in AEW.
Guys, YouTube channel memberships are 99 cents and get them on Member Monday. I dropped some allegedlys. And again, I'm not a fucking dirt sheet. We're just making it all up. It's a cartoon, but yeah, I don't know. Tone is like, he wanted to be in AEW and all this shit. And I don't know. You just go listen to that show, Member Mondays.
He would be the best person to ask, but I know that I've been in communication with Chris, and he definitely told me he wanted to be at AEW.
And Coach, and shout out chat pointing it out. Coach was the one saying Jericho's going to WWE. I have it under good source and shit. Like, come on, man.
Winnipeg on that date. We've had that circled for a long time, going back to last year, and it was a choice that Chris made, that he'd rather be in AEW than wrestling anywhere else. And I think that's awesome.
See, now that's so funny because that's such a cope. If you guys listen to the allegedlys from the Member Monday show, and I just had Husey on, that's all I'm saying, right? I'm just throwing it out there. So, yeah, Tone is really like, he wanted to be here. Okay, that's not what we just heard.
I can't say for sure, Coach. Exactly.
What did Cartman say on that? There's one episode of South Park, like way back in the day, where Wendy says something, and then Cartman's like, "That's not what we just heard." You guys know what I'm talking about? I'm pretty sure it's South Park.
What his mind was and where he was thinking, but I know that he definitely always has been consistent that he loves AEW and that he wants to be here. And I'm glad that he chose to be in AEW.
He repeated that 4 times. He's hoping so hard.
And there you go. There you go. That's the first time I've heard you say that. And that's awesome. He was a free agent. He chose to stay. Fantastic. So let me follow that up with another.
Yeah, so there you go. See, Tone, again. So Jericho was, even though there's no like renegotiation or whatever, he was a free agent. He did just sign a new deal, right? But allegedly, I don't know, he might not want to be in fucking AEW. And that's why Tone just said that 3 times, because that was a major point of contention probably for Jericho. Just throwing it out there. I don't know shit. I'm a
talent question, because you've had, and the one thing that talent love about you is you pay them. You pay them on time, and they're very, very happy. They love Tony Khan, and I think that's great in a boss. You've had some guys over time that sit out for a long period of time, and we don't know why. And then eventually, like a Ricky Saints, they'll talk and say, I'm healthy, I want to work. Or a Britt Baker, who just was on a red carpet. They say, it's not my choice, I want to work. What's your thought process on using talent that most fans will say, I want to see a Ricky Saints, but he's not being used? What goes into that for you?
Well, I think, again, each wrestler is a case-by-case basis, but the people you named, I really like having in AEW. And in Britt's case, she is a part of AEW. In Ricky's case, he's somebody that wrestled here in the past.
Oh my God.
I think when you guys...
Is she really, though?
Invited me to come on, I was really excited to talk to you about all aspects of wrestling. And one thing you guys know very well, Vince, you have a lot of experience with this, from putting on lots of wrestling shows and shows on TBS and TNT. There's a limited amount of hours. And one thing that's been really good, I think, is there's been a real focus that the fans have noticed in AEW.
So then why keep people signed up? Why keep people signed up for so long? Now, if they want to sign, like, you know, rumors swirling around, Wardlow signed and he's like 37 and doing American Gladiator and shit. So he's just like, I'll get paid shitloads to just live, you know? I've been doing it for how long? I'm 37. What the fuck? Sure, I'll sign another 6-7 figures, 6-7. But then, like, why shelve them when they want to be free, or why do this shit where you pull them off indie shows, replace them with Jericho, and then fucking they go away, and then they come back, and then you job them out, then they're just gone, and then they say you ghosted. They're like, why is that so many stories of that tone? He's trying to be all coy. Call him out.
You in the last year.
He's trying to be all Joe Coy.
There's been people that have come, people that
call
have gone.
Him out. They should be calling him out for this one.
I think the shows have had a really great flow. There's been tremendous, as you guys mentioned. I think we've had fans that really enjoy our pay-per-views, but also the reception for our TV has been really strong. And now the viewership on TBS and TNT is the highest it's been in years. And a couple of years ago, when we were doing these numbers, we didn't have any viewers on HBO Max. That was before with the simulcast. So I think we're in a good position right now. Each wrestler you're asking,
we didn't have any, so even if there's 5, it's worth it.
About it is on a case-by-case basis. But I try to make a plan going into the next pay-per-view, the next several weeks of television, and frankly, with the high impact, high velocity aspects of.
And what's another wrestling show? The High Thunder. What's another old wrestling show? The High Heat.
Pro wrestling. There are constantly injuries, reasons why you might change these things. And I think for us, it's one of the reasons why you see wrestlers come or leave a lot of times is due to an injury. And then it may take some time to work somebody back in because you got different things going with different wrestlers. But I think it's been good for us with our 2 hours every Wednesday night that we do, like tomorrow night on TBS, and 2 hours every Saturday night on TNT. Not trying to jam 36 matches in 2 hours, and try to keep focused on what we got. And our fans really like the show that we're doing right now. But absolutely,
they like the show you've been doing right now more and more, if we're to believe Nielsen and whatnot, because of the fact that your production's been more on point, and Tone's been focusing on a core group of people, meaning he doesn't need this bloated ass roster. So again, he's just coping right now. And also more vignettes and promo time and recaps of the last week's show. It makes people more willing to go like, oh, I'll turn this on. They're going to tell me what happened last week. So I think those things have all helped. Tone should pat himself on the back for those things.
I've been bringing back some faces and really consistently have people that kind of come and go. There's an injury, you bring somebody back. It happens all the time. Just in recent weeks, we've seen, you mentioned Chris Jericho, Hikaru Shida, Private Party, and that's a great example because Private Party had some great matches upon their return. And then Mark Quinn, we announced, had an injury this past week when they were wrestling the Death Riders. And that's unfortunate. I really like Isaiah and Mark Quinn, but now Isaiah will be on his own without Mark Quinn for several months at least. And that's a good example right there. Guys who I really like that.
Now he's doing his Instagram live. This guy's great. Mark Quinn's great.
Been here for a long time, that were away for a long time, came back, and we have an injury that creates an opportunity for somebody else, either somebody to do more on the show that's already been on the show, or somebody to come back.
Okay, he asked about fucking Britt Baker, buddy. And then he asked about Ricky Saints, but he won't go into the details of like, well, you fucked him. You pulled him off the one show, and then you brought Cardona in, then you put Jericho in his spot. And then he's gone. Then he wins a tag title, loses, fucking leaves. What about Hobbs? He's a trios champ. All of a sudden, he just gets pinned. Like, Coach ain't pointing out, you know, he's just letting him talk about Private Party because they're still in AEW.
It hasn't been on, or maybe somebody new altogether. You know, I've signed a lot of new wrestlers this year, too. And I really enjoyed that process. I think watching a lot of wrestling. Vince, I like your show. That's one of the wrestling shows I like.
There you go.
There's good young talent. There's veterans out there, and it's fun to watch it.
Speaking of my show, Tony, I would love, I'm throwing this olive branch out there. I would love to bring a Miss Britt Baker on our show. If you got too many bodies on AEW, I would love to bring.
I signed a lot of new people. Yeah, so then, like, fucking, what's with all the people sitting on the goddamn bench? Why haven't you figured out what ROH could be that's different than AEW? Now, Vince Russo, let me tell you about Britt Baker. I can't wait.
Britt Baker on our show, JCW, and I will bring her on, Tony, to promote AEW. I would promise you, Tony, we'll get more eyeballs on AEW. So, Tony, I'm throwing that out there to you, and I'm not going to put you on the spot to answer, but speaking of more eyeballs, Tony, I got to ask.
Dude, I promise you won't get more eyeballs on AEW.
Tony.
And by the way, I'm not saying there's too many people in AEW where there's not there. I really think Britt adds a lot.
Is that enough?
You think she adds a lot of value, but she's been sitting at home for like 3 fucking years or something, I feel like. It's just such a fucking, she adds great value. Okay? Oh, she does. Yeah, she does. She does. Elaborate, buddy. Then why's she been at home, asshole?
No, is that a no?
It's like I said, every case is different. But
is that a no that Britt Baker can't come over?
No, it's not. It's not. You never know. And
okay.
I think you do a great job. How is your process, Vince, now versus in years past? Because you've worked for different companies in different eras of TV. Is it similar to what you would have done?
Has not changed. Has not changed at all. Doesn't matter who I'm working for, which is going to lead to my next question. Okay. And Tony, I am giving you this basically as something that I know worked for me a millionfold. Okay. Tony,
a billionfold in your case, bro.
A lot of bookers run into this problem. I think you run into this problem. I think Triple H runs into this problem. I saw Jeff Jarrett run into this problem. I think when you're in a position of booking, okay, you tend to write a show that you like. And I'm not talking about you, just you. I've seen this a million times, Tony. Triple H is doing this. Triple H is writing a show that he likes. I never wrote a show for Vince Russo because, Tony, quite frankly, it doesn't matter.
I don't know. Some of that, like TKO and Triple H are beefing stuff, like that's absolutely true in that they use I'm sure they come to Triple H with like, we have statisticals on what drives viewers and what we can blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure he has to fight against all that corporate bullshit as well. And he just takes the brunt of it, just like Dana White. So Dana White is a guy where UFC makes all these fucking decisions. The fans right now are mad as fuck at UFC. But Dana just takes the brunt of it all, and he's just the face, and he answers the questions and shuts it down. They want Triple H to be that guy, and he is that guy. So, yes, I'm sure creatively there's differences, but also he's on board with it to be that guy who's like, yeah, I will be the face, and I will take the brunt, and I will support our decisions, and I will fucking... So, don't get it twisted. Like, Triple H is also... I don't know if these shows are all booked 100% how he would fucking book them, but he'll take the brunt of the heat for the bad booking, and he might disagree with TKO shit, but he's also there knowingly as like the Dana White, like, yeah, fuck it. I'll tell people to fuck themselves. I'll get booed. I'll be the one to get cheered when they want. You know what I mean? I'll be that guy.
What I like. What matters are the masses. That's what matters. And the numbers tell you what they're watching and where they're turning off the channel. You're given that information every single week. So what I'm throwing at you, Tony, is this. And it is what it is. But the very first show of AEW, 1.4 million people tried it out. By the time we got to the next week, that wasn't everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. That's okay. You're not good. If you would have came back with 1.4 million the next week, it would have been incredible. You're going to lose people. But the bottom line is 1.4 million people tried out the product. By the time we got to the next week, we had about half. That just means it doesn't mean it was bad. It means
we had about half. See, that's not. I don't think that's true. I think Vince Russo's off on his numbers.
It wasn't for them. So here's my question to you, Tony. And this is what I would, if I'm Tony Khan, this is what I'm doing. Bro, you got a hardcore built-in audience, and
he's pitching himself. He wants a job. Vince Russo, come on down. You're next up on Tony's Khan's Bucks are in your pocket now. What the fuck is it? You're next up on Cash App from Tony Khan.
Audience will kill for AEW. They will kill. God forbid you say something negative about AEW online. You might as well shut your computer off for a week. And Tony, that's attributed to you. The freaking loyalty is incredible. However, Tony, there's millions and millions and millions of casual wrestling fans out there, including me, that do not sit there and watch wrestling anymore every week. It's not the cup of tea that they liked or grew up on or the Attitude Era. It's different. As the writer, and you just asked me what I'm doing today, here's the bottom line with me. I want to get as many people as possible to watch this show.
Amen.
Whether you're a hardcore fan, whether you're a casual fan, entertainment fan, I want as many people as possible to watch this show. With that being said, Tony,
shout out Coach and Bro behind the Turnbuckle Studios on YouTube and Coach and Bro and Tony Khan and AEW and TikTok. Thanks, TikTok and AEW.
Have you had discussions? Do you have plans? Do you have ideas of how you may be able to open this up to the masses who may not be watching it right now?
Well, I think it's a great point, Vince. And I'm glad you asked because, again, different people have different philosophies. I love wrestling, and I've put on a wrestling show that I think the fans of AEW really like. And there might be other wrestling promotions that have existed in history, but like you said, the AEW fans really like what we're doing. The network is thrilled with the viewership that we put together. And you mentioned being on since.
So they're cool just whittling it down to as long, again, it's that 500,000 number where apparently just as long as Dynamite was getting 500,000 live every week or more, Warner Bros. Would be happy with that the whole time. That was always, I guess, how they felt about AEW since inception. So I'm willing to believe that's true just based on how far it's all come. But now with the Paramount thing,
2019. Well, if you look back, we started in October 2019, and you mentioned, where we're at now. I mean, from the second month of the show, there's a very similar audience watching right now. So for over 6.5 years, it's gone up at times, it's gone down, but right now it's in a strong period. And we've been able
that's
to
what I'm
maintain and at times grow that audience.
You've got those people. You've got
right. You have them.
Tony, they're not
right. And that's the thing everyone tried to point out. When Jericho was saying that shit, we might beat Raw. Okay, you're gonna have to get we know there's 700,000 people that'll watch Dynamite. We know there's anywhere from 300,000. There's about 300,000 that'll watch Collision. And then there's 150,000 that'll watch Collision if you put it on at 2 a.m. on a fucking Sunday on the moon. You know what I'm saying? They will tune into it. And then we know it's probably less than 100,000 that buy the pay-per-views, right? Because you got to subtract 30% from whatever the shit Dave's talking recently. We tracked. I'm not going to get into it. But you've got them locked in. Now, how are you going to beat Raw? How are you going to be? He's just saying, we're okay with, the whittled down core, the people who just fuck with us whenever we do anything, essentially. Or, whenever we do something half compelling and, Omega and MJF and shit are in the main event. we have like this certain amount of people, but how do you double that or triple that up? But he doesn't care about like the growth of anything. I don't think Tone, he's more concerned with the growth of MJF's hair so he looks good for television than he does the actual growth of AEW, I think, because I think he thinks his money will just buy whatever growth, quote unquote. Oh, we're going to partner with NFL? Sure. Well, they'll throw us some lucha masks that we're throwing in fucking Happy Meals at White Castle or whatever whatever their deluxe meal is. You get a lucha mask, right? You got fucking, here you go. The same thing. I ordered a bunch of them in different colors. We're just going to print them for the NFL now. And I'm probably paying to make this a deal type shit. So I just don't think he really even cares or thinks about that aspect. And thank God they interrupted him. Thank God they didn't let him veer off a cliff with this. Let's continue.
Not going nowhere. You've got those people. It was my mentality when I went to
Plinian Pixel Art's been a member for 20 goddamn months. Thank you so much for your membership. I know a couple AEW sickos whom have said they'll quit Dynamite the day TK hires Vinny Rue to book. Tony won't ever do that because then he has to admit that he's not like the head creative guy. Then he has to admit his creative wasn't the best type thing.
The WWE, we had those people. How do we get the people not watching the show? And that's when the Attitude Era was born and you saw numbers go through the roof. Those were people that were not watching wrestling. Those people you got now, God bless them. Tony, you got them. They ain't going anywhere. How do we open this up to bypass the WWE, to challenge the WWE, Tony?
That's what I'm talking about.
Come on, Tony, we're behind you, Tony. What are we doing, Tony? That's what we're asking you.
I think that we've got great fans with AEW and a great fan base, and I appreciate your point, but I do think those fans hold us to a high standard. They want a great show.
They don't. They hold you to the lowest standard, Tone. See, he's just backwards. He thinks that like Meltzer stars elitist fucking gatekeeping. This is what pro wrestling is. And meanwhile, you got girls. You got girls making out and slapping each other with pork chops and shit. Okay. Like they don't hold you to a high standard at all, or they would actively tell you in cage match ratings or Meltzer ratings or whatever where you're fucking up, and they don't.
And I plan to deliver a strong show every Wednesday and every Saturday, and I appreciate your point.
The standard they hold you to is just give us 7 matches every Wednesday. I just want to watch matches. I just want to watch people crash into each other. Okay, watch MMA then.
We constantly want to grow the viewership. That's why I wanted to come talk to you. You invited me on the show. You've got a lot of fans. A lot of them might not watch AEW. But to your point, Vince, I may have a great audience. I do have a great audience. But it's grown in recent months. And it's people coming back. It's people trying to show out. It's new fans. I like where we're at right now.
It's Nielsen switching up how they do their shit because people were mad that wrestling ratings weren't doing that good.
I like where we're at right now better than a year or even 2 years ago. And I really, you can't go backwards. You can't go back in time. And that's a huge thing to me. It's important to look back at history and learn from it. But we all know you can't go back and there's no second chance to do the exact same thing over again.
No turning back now.
All you can do is learn from it. So over the past 6 years, I've tried to learn. I've tried to learn from different people. I've never.
Bones finally showing that he started to learn. Finally.
Gotten to meet you, Vince, and you've got a lot of experience in wrestling. We definitely, anybody who's watched the shows that we work on would say those guys have totally different approaches.
Totally.
And that's great. When I watch your show, I think, man, there's some really cool stuff in here. It's very different from how an AEW show would be, but that's good. I like seeing different approaches. I think you do some brilliant things. Even some of the transitions from the backstage to the wrestling matches, right, to the vignettes, there's some brilliant things. And that you're still doing it 30 years later from when you started working on writing wrestling shows. I think it's phenomenal.
Tony, you do know by what you just said. I just want to clarify something. By what you just said, David Meltzer is never going to talk to you ever again. I just want you to be aware.
Flutes in the motherfucking chat.
For you,
That's very clear.
For you to come on here and put my writing over, your relationship with Dave is over.
No,
Right,
you know what, Dave? Everybody's got different perspectives on wrestling, Vince, and both of you might have a different perspective than each other, and your perspectives may be more similar to each other than they are to mine. But
or the young
point, I saw
superstar, babyface, the former heel thing. So,
and he and I disagree on this. He asked why I would come on the show because he thinks at times you guys have been critical. I can't say I know chapter and verse everything you guys have ever said about AEW, but it seemed like a nice invitation to come on the show, and I have respect for both of you and your accomplishments. And I thought it was a nice thing when I saw you invited me to come on. And Dave said, why would you want to come on the show with anybody that's been critical? And in his opinion, he said,
and it's so funny too, like, just throwing this out there, Vince Russo works for a Fed. The best thing he's doing in this Fed is, like, you have the ring rat, she's getting cocaine sniffed off her ass, and Tone's like, I love what you're doing over there. This is great stuff. This is the future of pro wrestling. I'm gonna come hang out with you guys this weekend.
Some of it wasn't in good faith. I don't know that.
In 1,000%, and
it seems fine.
But the thing that's different about us than every other
Tone not to do the show. Yeah, like, Dave has his fucking ear. They better press him on this shit.
Shows we ask the questions on how to help you grow the show. And Meltzer's just a reporter. We've done this for well over 20 years inside the business, not reporting on the business. So we've seen it, and we've been there for good, for bad, for growth, for millions, and all of that. So you just said a couple of things I want to hit on, because you said we're always looking to grow the audience. So let's start right there.
Thank God Coach is there to be like, whoa, let's calm down, you two Spurgs. Let's fucking.
And then also one of the big things that WWE is dealing with is the mispricing of tickets. And they literally insulted themselves on last night's show, and they tagged us because we've been saying it, not criticizing. That's the fact, and that's the truth. And
right, but AEW did that too. And then when the price gouging backfired, now they do lower tickets and are like, oh, we have cheaper tickets. So, like, I hate when they just go, WWE does this. Yeah, AEW tried and was doing this and did it in Australia. They gouged people for what they're worth. Like, fuck, man, this is what promoters trying to do.
Pat McAfee tagged us because we've been saying that. So I ask you that to say this. You have fan-friendly pricing. You have some of your talent out there talking about fan-friendly pricing. But then you have a pay-per-view where you have somebody sticking a needle through somebody's face. And if you're growing the audience, Tony, and if they're coming to you during the day and saying we're having a Texas death match.
And Coach, point out how the Rizzler was on the show earlier, and point out why the point of that is you put the Rizzler on YouTube because you're hoping a bunch of kids watch it and then go over to the pay-per-view. Right? So then why are you putting the Rizzler on the show saying you're family friendly and then doing dumb shit like this?
And we're trying to do this. I'm all for a hardcore match here and there, but you're at a point right now that your company has a chance to really grow. Your company, Tony, has a chance to grab some of those.
Like, I was a hardcore champion,
fans from WWE. Is that the smartest play when you know that people are trying you out? And the proof of that is after Revolution, you've had 3 straight weeks of more and more and more. So when they come to you and you decide how those hardcore things are going to happen, what is your approach and what is your answer to those talent?
Well, I just go, that's great, do it. And then I give them a hug, and then it's all good.
Again, it's a case-by-case basis. There are absolutely some hardcore things that I said I don't think would be a good idea, but it's usually for the sake of safety. There are times where I've run things by the network, but Coach, the example you just gave was a pay-per-view. So I do think that the violence and the excitement, some of the hardcore stuff on a pay-per-view, that can be another level of hardcore violence in pro wrestling. And when you watch a pay-per-view, and certainly to the point you just made, Coach, we've had great viewership since AEW Revolution. So I think there was a really positive response to the Revolution show. There may be, out of 100 different wrestling moves and things that happen on the show, there could be 95 you liked and 5 you didn't. And I think people would respond more positively than the 95 they did like.
Hey, just okay. Yeah, and if a frog had wings, it wouldn't bump its ass when it hops. Or like, what kind of fucking, what is that? That's a non-answer. Guys, quick plug, patreon.com. I dropped a new Botchamania reaction video. This one has the Ultimate X and the Kurt Angle versus shit. This is like a 47-minute reaction with JJ Alexander, where we just talk shit, swap stories, all that good stuff, and react to like the first ever Ultimate X Angle versus Shane McMahon. Patreon.com/Pro Wrestle Times.
Tony, I'm gonna give you another tool in the toolbox. Okay,
You're getting a master's class today, Tony. A master's
Let
class.
me give you another
Tony,
tool.
listen. I had a philosophy. Remember, you're a historian. You know everything that goes on.
Okay, wait
Nitro
a minute.
was kicking
Wait a minute. So Coach was like, here, there's like 5 things I want to unpack there, Tone. And then they talked about one thing, and then Bro just jumps in and is like, bro, let me tell you about you. Here's another tool for your already overflowing toolbox of pro wrestlers, bro.
Our ass. Make no question about it. Okay. Here was my philosophy. When you're number one, number two does not exist. You don't bring them up. You don't talk about them. Pardon my French, they're a pimple on your ass. When you're number two, you throw the kitchen sink at number one. What I'm talking about is DX invading, WCW's building, and, the shots fired at, Nitro and Bischoff and WCW, and say what you want. But at the end of the day, that paid off.
Yeah, but they both did that, and the problem with Russo is that he was on the WWF side for what he's talking about. He's just so fucking narrow-minded sometimes. So it's like, or maybe all the time if you ask Jim Cornette, I don't know. But yes, on the WWE side, yes, that may have paid off. But WCW started like spoiling results of shows and shit like this. They were like taking hella jabs, stealing talent and whatnot. So WWE kind of did that reactionary as like a reaction to their action. It wasn't even like they came up with that and that's what turned the tides and all of this shit. So Vince Russo's going to try and again be like, bro, I booked Stone Cold. I invented the Monday Night Wars, bro.
You are in a position now, Tony, where WWE, man, is doing a lot of damage control, man. They are reeling. There is a lot of negative press right now with ticket prices. Creative sucks. I'll just say it, Tony.
Tone loves that, but why aren't they going, your creative sucks, Tone? They won't say that. That's the problem. This is where this is like Gooberville now. It's like, okay,
a lot of negativity. There's a lot of people turning away from the WWE. Here's the window. Stick the screws in, Tony.
Don't listen. Russo's giving you the worst advice. Don't cope about WWE. That was such a turnoff. Tone's like, resurgence. No one's really talking about the Fed. MJF does it because that's always been his gimmick. And he is going to probably go there one day. Well, maybe. Tone will probably pay him so much to never go there. Honestly, why would you go there if you're going to get paid as much as Tone's going to pay you? But here's the thing. Vince Russo's telling you what to do 4 years ago. Now you're dug out of the rut. If we're to believe Tone, everything's turned around. Everything's great. Don't listen to Vince Russo here, dude. Because the constant nipping at WWE's heels, that shit sucks and nobody liked it. Nobody liked it.
The screws in. Use that tool in the toolbox, Tony. Use it. Don't be afraid to use it because, Tony, you're a historian. It freaking worked. It worked and it would work again because now it's exactly what Coach said. You may have people leaving the WWE, coming to AEW.
See, Russo's so stupid. Like Bischoff did that so much that even while he's on top, he was doing that. And then what happened? WCW fucking ended up going out of business in the end. So don't listen to Vince Russo. You guys have gotten away from bringing up the evil Fed constantly. Tone had to do so much time repenting for taking shots at Cena and The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels and Triple H and Vince and the whole company and all of these people. And the final blow is going to come with this Paramount shit. And it's going to be devastating for him. And he's going to wish he didn't say all that shit, because maybe they could have worked something out where AEW could coexist in a way where it's just another Fed, sort of like TNA is under this larger thing that they're doing. But instead he fucked himself, and he's going to end up on Amazon fucking Prime or some bullshit. And yeah, this is the worst advice Vince Russo could have ever given Tone. I hope he does not listen. I don't think he's gonna. He doesn't listen to anyone.
AEW, and all of a sudden, if the little guy is taking some shots, I like this. I like Tony. We started taking shots at the WWE because here was my mentality. I wanted people.
Vince, they were taking shots at WWE before you ever got to WCW, and also you're so redacted. You just jumped over before you were talking about when I was on the DX side, and then now I'm on the WCW side taking shots. They were already doing that. Bischoff was already doing that, and Paul Heyman was already doing that to both WWE and WCW way before. This is the worst advice ever, and then he's going to glaze himself for the worst advice ever.
People to say, oh my God, I don't believe they have the balls to do that. Do it, Tony! Do it!
So I changed my approach, Vince. At the beginning of AEW, there really was a really collective rebel spirit. And now I think AEW is very established, and people know AEW's got a really quality product and a lot of fans. And I do want to grow that fan base, Vince. But the way I would do something now might be different than how I would have done it 6 or 7 years ago. And I also think it's possible that Vince Russo and Vince McMahon and DX could succeed by zigging at one point, where I might succeed by zagging at another point. And there's different ways to success. And
actually, bass tone though, bass tone. He's like, look, dude, I used to take shots. That didn't work out for me well. And if you look historically, that doesn't work out for people. Let me just fucking TNA taking shots at fucking the Fed as well when they're on Destination America or whatever. Fuck all that, dude. Based on.
I've got my ideas in my way, but I can learn from different people. And I might not
kind of talking shit with the whole zig and zag stuff. Like, okay, that's dumb, but like, good on you, Tone, for shooting that dumb shit down.
Incorporate every aspect of it, but I do want to hear your thoughts and ideas. I think it's interesting. I don't disagree with everything you're saying, but I think the AEW fans would also agree. I've refined my own media strategy, and I think people have seen me trying to take the high road. Some of it is the fact that, like you, Vince, and again, we have different approaches. But I think
people have seen me take the high road.
Vince, I believe in taking the high road when possible. So when Dave Meltzer said, why would you want to go on this show? I said, first of all, I'm not going to hold anything anybody said about AEW.
They never even said anything that crazy. Dave's just a little bitch, and he just doesn't want to hear anyone that might have a differing opinion. His mind can't be changed about shit
against them for the rest of their lives. That's not what Christianity is. That's not what Jesus would do. We just celebrated Easter this past weekend.
Bass Tone! Tone's fucking based! He's fucking fully red pilled! He's red pilling the audience!
Different people can
He's
say
red
different
pilling
things.
coaching, bro!
Things that you or some people in wrestling could say that
Let's
might be
fucking
perceived
go.
different coming from you than if it was me saying it. I don't know what it is about me,
man.
but I think like I have a different voice than you have. So for me, this is good. And I'm not saying trying to kill everybody with kindness, but being nice to people has gotten me a long way. And I've been trying to do it more in recent years.
And I think that's fine. But you're also in the world of pro wrestling.
Oh, Coach, shut the fuck up now. Fuck you, Coach. Tone, for once, said some real shit. And you're like, okay. He really believes this, like he really, and he's on a new leaf. No, man, go back, talk some more shit. Why?
And you can be a nice guy and all that. You mentioned talking to Meltzer twice. And I asked you at the start of the interview, who is the people around you that you listen to? Because it's impossible to come up with all of these creative ideas by yourself.
Tone's based as fuck. He's a really cool guy, actually. I really kind of like Tone.
So are you actively talking to Meltzer? Because I know you're not talking about his radio show. Like, do you call? Does he call you and say,
again, a terrible question from Coach. Are you actively talking? You know he is. We've all seen the video evidence of it. He just said in your interview that Dave's told him not to do it. We know he is. Why are you asking, just lobbying him up? Just be like, so you talk to Dave, you consult with him. Now, do you not understand how that's a bad look in pro wrestling? Again, this is why people just don't trust these two to ask the right shit.
Hey, why would you go on there? Because we don't even bring him up. Because he is like a pimple on our ass, and I don't respect what he has to say.
Well, you did bring him up. I think that's how his name came up.
I brought him up.
No, he brought him up, not me. I'm saying on a normal
Tone's,
show, we don't.
Yo, Tone's working these motherfuckers. Yo, I'm Team Tone. What's going on, dude? Tone's working these motherfuckers right now, dude. He's like, listen. He's just calling them on their shit. Let's
go. Best guys, Tony Khan.
AEW.
Because he's part of the world of just throwing stuff against the wall, but he's never been backstage at a wrestling show.
He has been backstage at a wrestling show. I've seen Dave backstage.
Right, and
maybe at yours.
He's been backstage at my shows. I've seen him. Yeah, maybe at your show, Tone. Okay, Tone ain't that bad. No, but in fairness, though, Meltzer, like Bischoff did try to bring him in at one point. Dave lies and says WWE tried to hire him. I don't think that's true. They've assigned him a stooge. They assign everyone stooges for the most part. And, you know, Coach is talking like the problem is they're all talking. Russo's talking from his experience and isn't being more objective. Coachman doesn't realize like, no, Dave's been backstage at like fucking PWG shows and shit. You know, as your boy Phyllis pointed out, innumerable times they pointed at him during matches and he fantasy mark booked if he put a 5, raised his hand and put a 5 in the air. They kissed him. Ricochet went and like kissed him at a PWG match and shit. Like he's been backstage at fucking shows. All right.
And immediately kicked out, Tony. And immediately kicked out.
Again, there's different examples of different things. But I'm not saying
there's different examples of different things. Wow.
You know, I used a good example of this earlier. I'm the only person that goes to every show and is working on every show through the years. There's different people. And Vince, you might appreciate this. Not everybody has the 24 hours, 7 day a week, 365 day a year wrestling engine. Some people want some time off between shows. That's not me. I'm going to be there every week all the time, but I respect giving other people some time off between shows. Maybe only coming once a week instead of both shows every week, or taking a couple weeks off with your family. That's okay. You know, I use this not to reuse an analogy.
I don't have a family, so I don't do that.
I got asked a similar question to this, and I had an answer that is answering with an example from a movie. And it's a scene in Ghostbusters.
Oh, no. Yes, let's go. Ghostbusters. And Tone just dropped. I dropped a clip of it, and I covered it on PWT Live Show. Tone meets Bill Murray.
When they're driving over the bridge, and you see Ernie Hudson and Dan Aykroyd in the car, and it's Ray and Winston. When the car is driving on the bridge, those were not the two Ghostbusters anybody was expecting to see in the car. We've never seen just those two together at any point, but that's how work goes. Like, it's two people. It's not just the same two people in the office every day. I have a lot of people in the office. But at the end of the day, there's really one person that has to kind of sit down and make the decision which matches and segments go where. But I do like to hear lots of different ideas. You can only hear so many ideas in a week and a day. So again, like Vince, I'm sure you have your own.
Yeah. So aren't you burnt out? I'd cut him off and go like, don't you get burnt out? Like we all criticize Vince for being spread too thin. I was there. I saw him spread himself too thin. I saw him in Bischoff when they added Thunder and it just fucked the boys up and it fucked up some of the creative and whatnot. You don't think that is kind of what's going on here?
Process. You've worked on hundreds and hundreds of wrestling shows. And it sounds like you have a pretty consistent process.
Well, Tony, I'm going to tell you this because I know because we study you.
There's
Tony.
nothing in that cup. Triple cup, Tone. There ain't shit. There ain't a drop left in there.
We study you, Tony.
We do.
And I do want to say this. I know your inspiration.
Vince Russo, we study you. Buddy, you say you don't watch the show in 5 years. You fucking liar.
You brought that Ghostbuster reference up before. I know you are a time cop, total mark.
Time cop.
I know that. We've established that. Tony, can I?
Coach is like, it's not funny, bro. It's actually fucking, you're an adult billionaire. What the fuck you doing?
Can I share something with you when I need to be inspired? Like you watch Time Cop.
Time Cop.
Can I play for you what I play when I need to be inspired?
Please. I would love to know.
Okay, what is it? Let's play. What is it? It's fucking Jim Cornette getting owned by Bischoff on that table for three thing.
I need total silence, Tony. Don't interrupt this. This is on my soundboard. This clip gets played, I'd say, at least once a day.
Oh, we actually have the clip right here, guys. I actually have it. That's what I play when I need to relax, guys.
Okay. Here we go, Tony.
This is what we envisioned in January.
Yes, but of course we go forever, Jaguars forever.
Happening here in September.
Love this.
Go on forever.
Forever, Tony! Forever! Tony, what about the respect to Father Shad? Once a week I play that, Tony. What about
awesome.
that's got to be worth something.
It is. And what makes it even better to me is to know my dad was in the locker room and I don't even know that he understands he was doing Terry Funk. But my dad did Terry Funk in the locker room and I thought it was so cool. And I don't know if there was one other person there. I was there when he did it. And that's what I was thinking is dad's doing the Terry Funk and he's killing.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. No
Yeah.
doubt about it. Tony, thank you for time. We'll only take a few more minutes, but there's a couple other topics I wanted to get into. And thank you again for the time. And I think one thing, you bring up,
They had him for longer than I anticipated. This rule.
everybody has different experiences, and I appreciate you not listening to the people around you. I think we've been not only very respectful, but asking you some difficult questions because we want this business to grow. That's what we're all about. The reason we're growing so fast is people have found us because they know there's no fluff. They know that we get right to it. So when you hear that from people, because of the way you normally do some interviews, have you had media coaches or people like us around you that are
obviously
honest
not.
with you?
Like, get the
It's really
fuck
hard
outta
when you're
here.
in a position like
Shit
yourself
question.
to have people be honest with you because of the power you bring, not only from the Jacksonville Jaguars side, but being a billionaire owner of AEW. I've always wondered that.
I hope so, and I believe so. I'm trying my best, and I do think I get good, honest feedback on those things. But I also think I learn from experience. The more I've been around it, I pick up things. It's interesting learning from other people too, other people who've worked in wrestling. Vince, I thought you did a fantastic interview. I don't agree with every wrestling idea that you have, and you don't agree with every wrestling idea I have, but that's okay. I think I had a perception of you that was different. And then I heard you on Steve Austin's podcast. And I thought that was such a fantastic interview. I learned a lot from listening to it, and I learned a lot about you. And
Jim Cornette just doesn't watch our show anymore, so fuck him. I'm aligning with you guys and the Juggalos now.
A different perspective on you. So then when I go out and do different podcasts of people I respect, obviously you and Steve knew each other very well. You had a rapport. It came off immediately. I don't know you guys.
Thank you. Fuck you. Bye. Boom.
I can make a new fan and hopefully get insights from you guys, and people will want to see more AEW because of this conversation.
Tony, do you know how I'm sorry, Coach. Before I forget this, Tony, do you know how I?
The people who tuned into this are fucking AEW fans, bro. Like, there's not going to be more that tune in to AEW after this. I'm sorry, but I fucking bass tone though. There was a bass tone moment.
First
Let's
introduced to you. AEW is first starting, and they are interviewing Tony Khan. Now, I don't know Tony Khan from Adam. I would suggest after this interview, we're pretty good friends. We're best buds.
Besties.
I didn't know you from Adam. Tony, this is what you said. Tony, I did not know you.
You said that 4 fucking times. Fucking get to what he said.
Vince Russo went into WCW and they had a hangnail. Vince proceeded to cut the entire arm off. Tony.
Now, do you see that? See the shit Tone was talking? And now Vince is like, talk more shit, Tone. No, he's like, I'm not doing that anymore because I put my foot in my mouth and obviously I'm on your show. And then Dave Meltzer's like, oh, they're just bad faith haters. Tony, why would you go on there? Brian. Right? But the problem is that Tone was taking shots at people and Dave will never fucking acknowledge that. Tone was hating on everyone first. He's talking about Turner and
the greatest thing I've ever seen.
all these fucking people he couldn't hold, talking about Jim Crockett promotion and I have more money. I'm not gonna fuck her. He's the one who started bringing everybody up. Okay. And then it blew up in his goddamn face. And he's learned from that, thank God, based Tone. But Dave Meltzer just shows you how much of a dumbass he is, because it's like, why would you go on there? Because Tone's trying to like at least change the perception that he won't answer questions and that he just hates everybody and that he won't let people go on shows and that he's afraid to go on shows. He doesn't want to pull. He listened to you in that regard, Dave, I'm sure. And now he doesn't. And thank God he's not. But Dave is like, nah, just run away. Don't listen to anybody who has criticism of you, whatever the fuck. Meanwhile, it was like Tone taking shots at motherfuckers. I'm not saying Vince never took a shot, but like Tone took shots at everybody. And Dave never acknowledges that part.
I'm sorry, Vince. I'm not sure that's fair.
Yeah, Tony, Tony, you took
years ago.
all right, now, Tony, Coach, one thing. I got to ask him one question.
I don't think that now, by the way, Vince, now knowing more history and having seen a lot more, I don't think that was fair to you. And I'm sorry.
I'm joking.
Knowing more history and having seen a lot more. Okay, now they're just kissing up. I mean, I didn't know. I didn't actually study that era yet. I was actually still on the 70s.
Great.
Like, come on, man. You talk shit and now you're being apologetic. That's cool. That's good of Tone to be like, oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't fair to you. But he's like, I wasn't sure about stuff, and now that I know about stuff, now I know that it wasn't fair to you. No, Vince Russo was still an asshole then.
Tony, I'm joking.
We don't take anything personal here.
Tony, I got to ask you a question out of my morbid curiosity. Then I'm going to ask you a very serious question. Okay, so I'm going to throw a softball and then a fastball, and then I'm going to give it to Coach.
What? No, just do one thing at a time, Vince. What are you fucking doing?
Tony, we study you. We love you. We love when you go out in front of the people at AEW and you do the horse stomp. I pop freaking huge for that. And when you go into promoter voice, when you lower the voice a couple of, I pop huge for that.
This Friday Night Wars. I won't take that shot. I have more money than Jim Crockett. You mean when he does that?
Here's the mystery we can't solve. At these scrums, Tony, it's always like 4 cups. Like there isn't just one cup in front of you.
Oh, shit. It's 2-cup Tone. It's fucking triple cup Tone, man. Getting called out.
Every booking is golden, you see. Perfect cards crafted for you and me. You're the best guys, Tony Khan, it's true. Triple cup, best damn booker in the land. 3 red cups stacked up, always in command. Triple cup, living legend of the fight. Just a call away from.
Let's fucking go. Oh, PWT.
No, there's like 4. What's in the various cups? So you've got like, or in all the cups, 4 cups.
Black coffee.
Okay.
Wow. Black coffee.
Here's the fastball. Tony, this come right at your head. Tony, listen, I swear to God, it is so cool. Listen, man, God bless you and Shad. You're a wealthy family. You have a lot of money. with that, your dream.
With that, bro, let me tell you, you can afford a surplus of cups, okay? Get a thermos, bro. It will last you all day. Hand to God, bro.
Able to come true of owning a wrestling
Let me tell you about a thermos, bro.
company, right? So obviously, bro, this is a dream. You always talk about booking when you were a kid and everything. That, God bless you. Good for you. Bro, I wish I could own a baseball team. Like, it's phenomenal. So, Tony, let's face it. You're going in this. Bro, this is rainbows, unicorns. This is my dream. I can't wait to get this thing started. Then we have the CM Punk scrum. Tony, I got to tell you something. While you're sitting there and I'm watching you, to me, like, my knee jerk was Tony
Yeah, chat's like, I thought Russo was done with wrestling. Exactly.
Khan.
I study you, bro. I've studied you from the very second I wanted a job. I mean, became interested in AEW.
Welcome to the world of professional wrestling, because you went in
wrestling,
thinking this was going to be great. A million ideas. You've waited for this your entire life, and then you're hit with the reality of the wrestling business. The question I want to ask you, because Tony, I'll never forget you sitting there. And I felt so freaking bad. I'm like, this guy did not see this thing coming. You didn't know what to do. Like, it was so freaking awkward. But here's what I want to ask you. What did you learn from that particular moment in time? What did you take away from that time?
Well, that Hangman Page is an empty-headed dumb fuck, and Mindy's Bakery makes really good I found out that CM Punk has a really good taste in soda waters.
I came out of that wanting for AEW to succeed and for AEW to continue more than anything. And what we were able to do to rebound from that, obviously, I wanted, in a perfect world, everybody to be able to get together and work together. I don't think that was possible, but I also think that we've been able in the past few years to really keep AEW strong. To me, that was the most important thing. I learned a number of things. I probably would do things differently, say things differently, but like you said, it wasn't something I was expecting. You're very experienced in wrestling, and you know that was very much a welcome to wrestling in some aspects of it, because that was, for me, I'd been in wrestling for almost 4 years. It
was my first shoot promo. I was just I was just caught up in the moment. It was exciting. It was actually great for me. It was great.
Point, but that was certainly a first for me. And
it was I'll never forget my first pipe bomb. It was glorious. I'll never forget it. I'm such a fan. I was like, whoa, I'm such a fan of CM Punk.
As with all firsts, you're going to learn from them, and hope not to ever have a repeat.
Tony, I know we've kept you an hour. We're going to have to do a part 2 of this.
And then the second one, I feared for my life. I was terrified, actually, for my life.
2 very quick questions, and then we'll let you out here because we know you're busy.
They
and
keep going like 2 very quick. This is the problem, right? Vince Russo's like, bro, I hand to God, bro, I'm going to throw you a softball underhand like a mimby-pimby female, bro. Then let me tell you something. I swear to God, I'm going to throw you a fastball, but here, and then I'm going to throw it over to Coach Bro. And then Coach is like, there's 3 things I want to touch on. Then he touches on one thing, and then Russo's back in there. And now he's like, I'm going to ask you 2 really quick questions. Let's see if he gets both of them off before these guys just fucking get distracted with other shit.
You'll want to come back because we'd love to have you.
That'd be great.
All right. So on my Sirius XM show,
Ron's like, I don't give a fuck. I have a fucking private. I'm on the super yacht Kismet. It'll turn into a fucking submarine and get me to Africa in 45 minutes if I want. You know what I mean? He's like, I got a private plane waiting. I don't stand in line. You know what I mean? He's like, I don't give a fuck. I got all the time in the world. I got fucking Starlink. Elon Musk is my IT guy.
Porter, who
I got Elon Musk running fucking Starlink in the back of my private jet.
Back in 23, all of the different people who bid to buy WWE, and it came out that a company that you own bid about $6.9 billion, I believe, to buy the WWE. Why did you do that?
Because he wants to own pro wrestling. Because he wants to own pro wrestling. He wants to be a part of WWE, even in 2023. And it's so funny because with the Vince allegations and shit, he still tried to buy in. He tried to buy in at the end of the day. So, the Saudi Arabia blood money sex pest MAGA company, he was down with that all. He would have owned it. And then he would monopoly. He would have monopolized it. And I've said this a million times. Right now, if Triple H, WWE, Ari Emanuel, TKO, they all went to Tone and said, look, we want to purchase AEW. And it can still exist if you wanted to. You can even book that show as like a minor league fed for us, and we'll put you on the board at TKO, and you can be in the creative rooms for Raw and SmackDown if you want shit. If they like offered him all that, he'd be like, great, when do I start? Let's start this Monday. I'll be at Raw. 100%. He would do it in 1 second. He would sell AEW if it meant he could be a part of WWE or monopolize the business or whatever. It would become secondary to him.
I was very interested in.
Look, he's admitting flat. Now, this is crazy. This is the best part of things. He goes, I was very interested. He flat out, Tones admit, people, again, the fucking sickos tried to cope over it. They're like, no, it was a company that he had nothing to do with.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard. Coping and seething.
It's a company he has investments in. It's not him. He just owns part of it. Blah, 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 blah. Listen to what he says. He flat out is saying he was interested in buying the Fed. He would have monopolized, even though his fans are like, oh, monopoly. It's bad for wrestling. Even though the wrestlers are like, isn't it awesome? There's an alternative. He was trying to swoop in and purchase WWE, guys.
The company that you own bid about $6.9 billion, I believe, to buy the WWE. Why did you do that?
I was very interested in the process, and I think that if there was going to be a sale, I would at least want to have a chance to be involved. And if it had gone for any less than that, I would have really.
The same way Disney owns Marvel and they own Simpsons and Family Guy, I wanted to own the multiverse of wrestling.
Pick myself.
Were you ever given a chance? Because we've seen a lot of the stories, and who knows what to believe, but we were told and found out that it wasn't a bidding process, that it was a we're going to go over here process. Is that how it played out for
and
you?
then now Tone's playing it off. I don't know. No, dipshit. It was a bidding process. They were eliminated from it like round one of the bidding or whatever. I don't know. Jim Cornette and Brian Last break it down much better than, it wasn't a bidding process. And Tone just goes, I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't know. No, they were, the second round of bidding or third round of bidding or whatever the fuck, they dropped out because it was too much. But they went up to in the bidding like 6-point-some billion or some shit. I can't remember that. Again, go listen to Jim Cornette. I'm probably just talking out of my ass with the number there, but it was something in that range.
Were you given a chance to outbid the others?
While respecting the confidentiality of that, I would say I don't have any complaints about that process.
Yeah, and he just flat out said if it was Coach, are you listening to him when he speaks? He said if it was cheaper, he would have personally fucking thrown in. And he would have tried to jump at that. So they're all good with him buying ROH and AEW and working with everyone and then monopolizing WWE. You know what's funny, too, is if they had have bought into WWE, that would have become his main priority. And he'd be doing interviews like, I'm a mogul, I run WWE and AEW, which is almost competing with WWE in its own way. It's great. And he would be fucking prioritizing like Raw and SmackDown. AEW would be an afterthought. Just like the sickos, who, if AEW went out of business tomorrow, they would just go watch whatever other indie YouTube show they could watch. That's the fucking thing, man.
my side right now that I'd want to talk about.
Whereas if WWE went out of business tomorrow, you're not going to get everyone goes and just starts watching AEW. It's not going to happen. Doesn't happen the other way. Tone doesn't give a fuck. Just like he'd take Saudi Arabia money, just like he would gouge for the tickets like he did in the past, and people shat on him for that when he was doing it. He did it in Australia recently. I've pointed this out innumerable times. He would gouge if he could. He'd take the blood money or whatever if he could.
Right now, I do think there was some stuff to that, and while respecting the confidentiality of the whole thing, I also would say that at the time, that seemed like to me, just reiterating, if it had gone for any less, I would have really beaten myself up. Like, why wouldn't you put in a bid?
Do you see that? If it went for any less, he's like, why the fuck? I would have beat myself up over it. It was the shiny new toy that we've pointed out time and time. This has just reaffirmed. This has just confirmed our preconceived notions or what we feel as though Tone, how we feel he acts towards wrestlers in the wrestling. It just confirmed it. He would have absolutely bought up the Fed, and that would have become his top priority. Ooh, shiny new toy. And then he would have traded AEW like a feeder system. And then we would have went, so the 3 years of saying you're going to beat Raw and be fucking and do all this shit, but really you just had to jump by your way into WWE to be a successful wrestling promoter. That's all that would have happened. Everyone has to admit that that's the truth now of the universe, but they fucking
oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
I thought that was a very reasonable number that I put in.
Well, it was because it was in the 6 to 7 billion. You bid
6,
market
7.
value. That's true.
That's what's been written, and again, that's not from me, but now based on the information that's out there, I've gone out of my way to be respectful. Again, going back to taking the high road, that's not something I've really talked about.
Is it really taking the high road if you keep saying I'm taking the high road? But then you're kind of coping about it. I mean, I don't know. I'll let Tone slide on that one because Vince Russo tried to set him up with some bad advice there earlier on, and so
and tried to act big league or talk big league about. I've really tried to focus on the wrestling show, and that was several years ago. And thankfully, those have been really good years for AEW.
Well, we do homework here, and we like to come in and be prepared. And I think
you guys didn't do homework. It didn't feel like you guys did that much homework.
That we are very prepared today. The last one is, and I think some of the feedback you've got about us being critical is we say we are critical of things here on the show, but the one thing we do that nobody else does is we give a solution. We say, here's what we think of the problem, and
everyone gives solutions. This isn't something you do that nobody else does.
Then Vince says, as you've seen today, here's what I would do.
But it's all good. It's just putting themselves over. I don't hate on Coach and Bro for like trying to get themselves over on their own shit. That's fucking 90% of my gimmick.
And so to me, if you don't want to do it, I feel, and Vince usually agrees with me, that you could use a powerful, authoritative voice in your show, because a lot of times your guys will fight, make a match.
Okay, Russo said he quit wrestling. Fucking Coach runs in with all this fake news that he's trying to be a dirt sheet, and then he falls back on, we're just trying to interview Tone and talk about the business. Now you're taking Phil Marks, Fantasy Marks booking here about having the Big Show or Jeff Jarrett or whatever be a GM of the fucking show, the face of the company that, not even the face of the company rather, but the face of like, here's where the buck stops with this person in kayfabe on the TV show, right? So, I mean, this is a 6-year-old fucking take on AEW. But go off, Unc. Go off, Unc.
And it's made without so much, or maybe the announcer say, hey, we confirmed with Tony Khan at the commercial break. You met with Shane McMahon. There are pictures of you meeting with Shane McMahon. Was that ever close? And have you ever thought about, if you don't want to be that character?
So this is 2 questions now, a 2-parter. You're asking about Shane again. That was like 3-4 years ago. We all know what happened. Tone met with him in a fucking room. His intern walked in, snapped a picture. He set it up. It was cheesy as fuck. And that was a setup to just get a picture, to get the rumors running. And Are you suggesting Shane comes in? Tone's not going to do that. He wants everyone to think that he runs the shit, even in kayfabe on the show. That's why he comes out and does the CMLL, holds the belt, right? When it's fucking a CMLL title match, even though that's what they do in CMLL. And yeah, this is just like having an on-screen authority figure. Okay, that's like fucking 5 years ago. Everyone was saying they need to do this.
Of bringing one in.
Well,
and like Cody Rhodes was kind of that, as chat's pointing
first of all, so we've been on so long that I have run the battery so much now that I'm gonna do a little set change here.
Okay.
No.
Plug in. So if you can give me 1 second,
I've actually got overtime. My battery's out. We're having production issues. I'm going to give you more time. No, I gave you more time. No. You didn't go hard. I gave you more time, you know? So let me actually go plug in. It's actually very exciting, plugging in my laptop, because it might take a minute for me to answer this question for you. And we were supposed to wrap this up 15 minutes ago, assholes. I got a fucking flight to catch. I got fucking a new Lego set on the Super Yacht Kismet. The fuck?
in into the outlet here and keep this thing going because I don't want to rush off. So just
no, man, this is awesome. We love the time and thank you.
No, it's my pleasure, guys. It's really my pleasure. So I've enjoyed it a lot too, and so here I'm moving closer to the.
There we go. We got you again.
But this is good. So I in all seriousness, okay. So first of all, can you?
We see you. We hear you perfectly. You're good.
Okay, good.
Yep.
I just want to make sure you can hear
Yep.
me and see me. Great.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a fair point. Now, you could argue who would be the right person.
It's
for
like
that.
a fucking
I
Dumb
do
and
think
Dumber
that
or
the
something.
mechanic of matchmaking, for example, in the NFL, when I watch NFL football, and I have a ton of respect for him, he would be the first person to say that's not the reason people are watching the games, is to see Commissioner Roger Goodell. He's a huge part of the game.
It's not football, it's pro wrestling. So knowing who's in charge and where the bucks, you have a bunch of guys just running around attacking each other. Okay, who is the authority figure who goes, this isn't allowed? Why is Moxley tone? All we see on your Instagram lives is you going, well, Moxley came in here and he wants a match. Okay, well, he just kidnapped someone. So like, why is there no checks and balance? So yes, Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis will tell you there's probably nobody tuning in to see us, but also Triple H does a run out, it gets 1 million fucking views on the thing when he comes out and gets involved in the Brock Lesnar Oba thing. Now, provided that was probably just because of Brock Lesnar and Oba, but like, come on, man. It's good to know that there's a chain of command. With you have a chain of fools. Chain. You got a chain of fools, okay? A chain of command is important. Just put the Big Show as the guy who makes the matches. He's the guy who we don't see you, Tone. You're in your office hard at work. He relays the messages. He will one punch knock you out. Are people tuning in to see Big Show? Maybe not, but maybe if he's a compelling character, right? Nick Aldis, are there people tuning in to see him specifically? Maybe not as much as they are obviously not as much as they are to see like Drew McIntyre, but Nick Aldis is a compelling character that helps carry the show along. It's like saying, is anybody tuning in to see the mom in Arrested Development? She might not be everyone's favorite character, but she's a pivotal piece that the other characters play off of that make it a better, compelling show that I want to tune into every time. Maybe Arrested Development, they fell off in the last season. Maybe that's not a good example, but you guys get what I'm saying, right?
He's important to the function of the game. He's instrumental to what we do with the NFL, but it's not like every time I watch NFL, and NFL is the most watched show in the country, 90 or more out of the top 100 programs are NFL.
What does he have, like a tape measure? I'm actually doing renovations. Do you guys see there's like a tape measure?
We actually measure wrestlers' heights here. And if you look down here, this is where my dad drew lines as I grew up as a youth. Here was me at 9. Here was me at 11. And then up here is John Moxley. And then if you look all the way up here, it's Satnam Singh. It's great.
And for me, again, the commissioner is a huge part of the game, but the commissioner of a sport doesn't necessarily need to be all over the show. So, when people talk AEW, I think people generally kind of know that I'm the the commissioner of AEW, but
No, because I think people generally know, the people you have locked in, and even they go, well, it would benefit from having an authority figure, a commissioner or something, right? So again, Tone, it's like, this is kind of cope. It's like, what about if you just tuned into it for the first time ever? Imagine like you had Monday night, you're in Raw's time slot, boom, it's on. People are just doing shit and the buck stops with nobody and there's no one controlling the madness. Trust me, casuals don't like that. People know at the end of the day, that the team has a coach that they got to answer to, and the assistant coaches and the offensive coordinators and shit, they got to answer to the coach, and then they got to answer to the fucking commission and all of that. It's like, people know that, it's implied. But with AEW, we don't really know that with you, because you get pile driven and then nothing happens. People kidnap people, throw them in trunks, put plastic bags over their heads. Nothing happens in the end. There's no like real punishment. There's nobody like making the matches or anything like that. So yeah, I just think Tone's off here, and that's just a creative thing. And he's just looking at purely as a sport. And it's like, even UFC, even MMA, which was what you think you are real wrestling. Okay, so MMA. So we understand who the matchmakers are. They're at the press conferences, etc. Even if Dana White's kayfabing and it's really Hunter Campbell and Sean Shelby making the matches and all this shit and negotiating with the talent and shit, Dana White still goes out there and is like, yep, we're making that fight for the White House. He still even kayfabes, even in UFC. So again, Tone, like, look at real sports, real combat sports. Eddie Hearn, look at the fucking promoters. Like, you always know the promoter, and people know you're the promoter, but as far as the show's concerned, just kayfabe a commissioner, dude.
I also don't think that that's necessarily a role that you want to see on TV. Now, Vince, your perspective on this might have changed, because when you started doing the writing in WCW originally, I don't think you intended to be a character in the show.
Bullshit. Vince Russo always wanted to be a character.
But did your ideas change about why you would or wouldn't want to do that?
Yeah, first of all, I wouldn't recommend it if you work on the show. If
you Tone, you are a character, you come out and hold the title and you get tombstoned. And Vince Russo says, I wouldn't recommend it if you work on the show. Tone did it while he works on the show. He works on every aspect of it. So it's like, I don't know what Tone thinks he's doing. He did it for the Bucks. He does it for Adam Cole and MJF and shit. So just put a commissioner in charge. What's the difference?
You work on, if you need to just be a character, because being a character on the show, it's going to take away from your other responsibilities of the show. That's why I never enjoyed doing that, Tone.
That makes sense. That makes good sense.
Yeah.
Russo was a character tried to be in WWE. He was a character in WCW. He was a character in TNA. And he was, I think he was, right? Wasn't he a character for a little bit in TNA, or am I off on that? I know he worked there and they're chanting Fire Russo, but he's also a character in JCW. So like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? He writes it, books it, and he's one of the main characters of JCW right now, talking about the companies on the line. Russo's just full of shit.
Well, for me, I think that's really good advice. And for me, I haven't had to deal with it much, other than, if there's a big announcement, like we're going to Wembley Stadium, something where it's really
that coffee kicked in and Tone went Super Saiyan for a second. Base Tone would be like, SSJ Tone would be like, Vince, you're a character right now on Lunacy. Shut the fuck up, bro.
Worthwhile that I think I want to be a big part of it, or there's a good reason why I should be in there. Like when we announced AEW All in London.
Yeah, he was a character with the SEX faction. Like, you couldn't be any more fucking cringe than that.
Back this year, going back to London Wembley Stadium, where we set the world record. We sold 81,000 tickets.
Oh, you guys are doing it. You guys are doing it in those big stadiums for sure. Because I know we're low on time. So the other part of that was Shane McMahon. How close did that come?
Oh my
God! Is that anything you would want to do?
Okay, so first off, yeah, you guys are doing it in those big stadiums. Okay, the day one sales are they're projected to do, if they're lucky with a papered house, 40K at Wembley. The 81,000 isn't even real, which whatever. I don't expect them. Like, whatever. Carney's gonna Carney. I don't get too triggered by that, but it is funny to clown Dave Meltzer for like melting down about the famous WrestleMania in Cleveland, where they papered half the attendance, and and also when Dave melts down about the 93,000 people but then he puts the 81,000 over when Thurston proved it wasn't 81,000, just like he proved All in Texas wasn't the 25,000 or whatever the fuck they drew, 28,000 or whatever they said they drew to that. And so Coach wants to know about Shane McMahon. These guys, this was a sit-down meeting for Coach and Bro to try and pitch their fucking ideas to Tone. He's not bringing Shane in. Shane would never go there. Okay? He'll do business. Even Shane said it. Yeah, we talked about other business where our companies have overlap. Of course, wrestling came up, and I told them they're doing great things over there. Shane will never work there. Stop trying to bring Shane in. And the reason why Coach wants to bring Shane in is because Coach and Bro think that fucking Shane will hire them, especially Coach. Now, I've pointed this out. Coach goes to bat for Vince. He has sources with Vince, allegedly, even though he was wrong on his fucking news when he was trying to be a dirt sheet for a minute there. And Coach hates on Triple H for that fucking reason, I believe, because he thinks he's more down with the McMahons. He'd probably get a job. Russo already publicly was like, let's work together, bro. So we already know what he's trying to do. He's tried to work himself into a job with every company that's ever existed, even WWE, those emails that got leaked, even WWE in like 2022 or whatever the fuck. He was trying to get a job again. And Vince McMahon opened the door for that being a possibility. So Vince Russo's just a fraud and a phony. And also, again, as Billy Botty points out on the Dirty Sheets, Vince Russo, who he worked with, like, I think he says that Vince Russo, he thinks rather, I can do it. And Billy Botty says, I think Vince Russo wanted a job, thought Triple H would hire him for pushing him back in the Attitude Era. Now, shout out the Dirty Sheets, but yeah, fucking Coachman here. It's like he's trying to bring in Shane, and then I can get hired or what? In
the future.
I had one really pleasant conversation with Shane. Shane reached out to me and said, I'd love to get together, and where are you going to be? And I was going to be in Dallas. We were doing a bunch of shows around Arlington, Texas. And I had said to Shane, like, yeah, that's where I'm going to be. I can meet you here. And we had a nice conversation. We talked for a few hours in the airport. I thought it was really strange that a photo came out from it. I thought it was pretty unusual.
I thought it was really strange. It was so strange to me. This is Tone Cope, classic Tone Cope, when he's like, oh, Jericho really wanted to be here. He really wanted to be here. I'm going to say it again so you guys believe me and really know he wanted. I thought it was crazy that my intern brought us coffees and quickly snapped a picture, and that's obviously what happened, and Phil Marks called it out on PWT. Of course. Come on, man. I thought it was strange. A picture came out. Who could have snapped it? You guys were in the room together for 15 minutes. Shane saw the only person come in and out was your fucking intern bringing you one of your third cup of coffee there, triple cup Tone, and they snapped a picture, and you knew what you were doing. Tone knew what he was doing with that. I stand on it, and this is him coping, stooging by being like, I really don't know about that. If you didn't know, you wouldn't even bring up you'd just be like, yeah, a couple pictures. He was pictured with the Bucks too, and there were some talks, whatever. But Tone, I have no clue. My hands are clean. Fuck off.
It could just be somebody that worked at the airport, but I know I had nothing to do.
You were in a private fucking room.
It's very unusual.
It could have been anyone. There was just, the janitor was coming in and out getting garbage. The TSA came in and they cavity searched us both. I requested they check for bombs in our asses. Both of us. What do you mean it could have been anyone? You guys were in a private room. How many people walked in and out of that private? John Moxley came in demanding a match. It was great. How many people came in and out of that fucking room while you were in there for 15 minutes or 20 minutes with Shane McMahon? It's just such a goddamn lie. This is crazy, and it's funny that he's lying about this all these years later. So actually, shout out Coach for asking the Shane McMahon thing, because it did just give us this moment of fucking Tone coping and lying. Hilarious.
Tell us what you know, you goddamn liar!
People all the time from all different media places. Now, Shane's a very recognizable face in sports and especially in the world of wrestling, where almost any wrestling fan is going to recognize him. So that could be what it is.
Wrestling fans came in that private room and snapped an unsuspecting picture. Buddy, this is nutty, man. This is nutty from Tone. This is where it's like, buddy, this is the nut house shit. Just be like, yeah, I met with him. What's up? I'm not bringing him in. We just talked about We talked about business shit. We talked about AEW a little bit. Crazy that he's just going off about this picture.
He recognized that
trying
we're
to
in a
cover
room,
his
wanted to take a
tracks.
photo. I'm in a lot of rooms with a lot of people. I've only had that happen to me one time.
Coach,
so
call him out on this.
That the photo, you could see in the photo, I'm very surprised when the person walked into.
No, you're doing the fake surprise like you were doing during this when they're asking you questions. Oh, really? Tone and Aubrey Edwards do that all the time. Oh, yeah, really? With the crazy faces. Everybody knows it. And so Tone has this fake one on, and Shane's like, what the fuck? Did you just take a picture of me? Did your fucking flash just go off, bro? No, I brought you bagels, guys. And Tone is just covering his. I was very surprised. I had no idea. It could have been a fan. It could have been a wrestler. It could have been someone from Shane's team. How many people came in and out of that room, Tone? There was you guys and then one other person, and Shane remembers it clear as fucking day, and Tone's just lying.
The room.
Yeah.
And I noticed he wasn't as surprised in the photo.
And this isn't even what they asked him.
Yeah.
But you know, I've only had the one really nice talk with him.
This isn't even what he asked him.
And
Hope about the picture. They didn't ask you about the picture. They asked about Shane. There was a meeting. Could he come in? That's what they want to know.
I thought it was quite impressive that in one conversation somehow it got out that I had talked to him. But that was really it. But it was a very pleasant chat, and he seemed like a really interesting guy. You know, I don't think the role of being like an on-screen person in a wrestling show seemed like particularly the thing he was interested in, but you know, he had a lot of interesting things and experiences that are totally different than mine. But I don't particularly think he went into it thinking I want to be a character on this guy's show.
Yeah, I dealt
to do with the show at all. He would not stab his dad in the back like that.
With him with a different company, so I know exactly what you're not saying, but I agree with you 1,000%. He's looking for ownership. He's looking to be on your level because I dealt with that with a different company that I just worked with, so I know exactly what you're talking about. I want to show you a couple of good things. I think
Jane pulled a Paul Heyman and was like, "Yeah, fucking, if I own the shit, 50-50 with you." But did they even get that far with the convo?
Hear some really positive about you. Before I do that, Vince, are you good? You have anything else?
Can I just say one thing to Tony?
Sure, absolutely.
Tony, I love the fact on this
Tony,
show.
please hire me, bro. JCW will partner with you.
You pointing out your Christianity. I also love the fact of you pointing out the high road. Tony, listen, I don't know you from Adam. This is the first time we have had a conversation. If you really listen to Russo Brand, you would have heard me say 1,000,000 times, this is a good guy. You might not agree.
Except for the time I called, bro, let me tell you about the time I called you a freaking mark. Bro, hand to God, I was not watching AEW wrestling, bro. What the fuck are you talking about, Vince Russo? You called him a mark and shit like that. You made fun of him. Him and Jeff Lane made fun of him a bunch of fucking times. There's clips of it. Go on Jeff Lane's Twitter. Like, we've watched it on PWT. What the fuck are you talking about?
With his wrestling philosophy, this is a good guy and a good human being. With that being said, Tony, I just want to tell you, you got the competition rocking and reeling. I'm not telling you to take the low road. That's not what I'm telling you.
That's what you did tell him to do.
There are creative ways to take advantage of that. That's what I'm passing along to you because, Tony, listen, you own the Jaguars. You own a soccer team. When your opponent is vulnerable, what do, man? You go for the
deep. You go deep.
They're vulnerable, Tony. And what I'm telling you is I would never say.
Don't listen to them, Tone. Don't listen to them.
Yeah, Tony.
Base Tone, shut their ass down again.
Go in the dirt and take the low road. I'm telling you, there are creative ways now where you can start winning over some of their fans. And I just hope you're open to thinking about those ways.
Well, I know that a lot of those fans have a lot of respect for you, Vince, and you did some great things there, a lot of great things at a very instrumental time. So I hope that by coming here and having this great interaction with you, that I've rubbed some of those people the right way too.
Oh, you definitely have. And I can tell you this, two things.
Base tone answer. He's like, my bet. And again, Coachman's like, 2 things, just 2 more quick things. It's like, man, let the man, his fucking charger. He's got his computer on the charger. Fucking get him out of there. A, but B, shout out Tone again, based Tony Khan for shutting that shit down.
Best guys, Tony Khan.
Like, just no selling, no answering that. Like, Vince, you're wrong. He tried that shit. It backfired. Jesus fucking Christ.
We're going to get out of here. This is the by far the highest live audience we've ever had. And in the chat, there's so many great remarks about you. And I just want to throw up
So again, so many of maybe some of your fans will watch AEW. Nope. They just did their highest viewers because that's just AEW fans came in to watch Tone. And then some people came in to fucking A-log them like me. You know, that's what it was, dude. So it's not like, oh, you're going to convince Coach and Bro people to be like, yeah, AEW's better. The creative has to change and shit, bro.
Few and read them to you so you can hear them, Tony. Smartest Mark alive. He's a guy, Tony, that started.
Someone's like, I'm a billionaire and you have me here reading fucking super chat. Tone's like, I don't have time for this. You realize I'm a billionaire, right? Jesus Christ.
Started his podcast because of our podcast. And he said,
oh, this guy started his pod because of our pod. So we love this guy. Holy fuck, man.
As this, Tony, thank you for giving us wrestling fans another outlet with pro wrestling as the focus and not corporate greed. AEW has helped me at some of the lowest points in my
smartest Mark alive, dumbest super chat of all time. And then they read it. Oh, this guy started his pod because of us. So let's read this dumb shit. Not corporate greed, buddy. AEW was the criticism against them. I don't even think it was 2 years ago. Was that they're gouging fans for what their shit is worth. They're doing 1,200 seats and they're gouging. Even when they went to Australia, they fucking gouged. Fans were pissed. They didn't do good attendance. Then they had to upgrade people's seats and shit to try and make it look more full, right? When they should have charged less. They were the ones being accused of gouging. So much so that, what did Dave Meltzer say?
You know, poor people don't like AEW.
They pay a premium. It's not about the corporate greed. Tone tried to buy WWE. He just copped to it. What the fuck are you talking about? What do you think he would have done with WWE if he bought it? Not charged what they're charging for tickets if he could do it? It's the dumbest motherfuckers cover pro wrestling.
Master Needle obliterate.
It's nuts, man. Like, how do you even just say things? It's not about corporate greed with you, except for when it was about corporate greed. It's just private billionaire greed until you can't charge that much for tickets, and then it's cheap tickets again. Yay. Boo TKO that you tried to buy WWE, and you would have charged that much for people to see The Rock and shit. You would have went to Saudi Arabia and shit, that means. You think Tone would have been like, we're not going to Saudi. No, you would have went to Saudi and taken the fucking corporate money. What are you guys talking about? So Tone buys WWE, the Saudis don't go, we give you 150 billion to come to fucking do WrestleMania. And he goes, oh, no. Nope, we're not corporate greedy here. The fuck are you guys smoking? These people are cooked, man.
My life, providing an outlet of happiness and an escape to the stress of life. That's pretty awesome. Cool, isn't it?
That's really great to hear. Well, thank you, Smartest Mark Alive. I really appreciate that. I'm really glad that AEW's been able to help you. And like you, Smartest Mark Alive, I love pro wrestling. And this is what I'm talking about, guys. This is somebody that has had great experiences with wrestling. It makes him feel better. And it's there for you every week. It's the one thing, pro wrestling, that will always be there for you every week. There's no off season. We don't take a break from it. And you can always count on it. So
thank you for being there in the lowest parts of my life and shit. It's like, and And then look, like, please ask Tony if he will agree to work with JCW. So it's just sickos like work with JCW, work with JCW, work with JCW, which he's not going to do that. Or maybe, I mean, I don't know. I could see him maybe sending, I could see Tone bringing cocaine in, right? And the ring rat. I could totally see that going down. But otherwise, it's just them being like, work with JCW, and then he's just quickly rifling off the super chats. It's like, why don't you just tell everyone, hey, I'm going to read these after, because we have Tone for X amount of time. Like, you know, we'll read them after, and then we'll actually clip this part and send it to Tone, and we'll get him to agree to fucking read these on his own time, or so, like, not on the air or whatever, but just to see what you guys had to say and blah, blah, blah. Hey, Tone, can we send you this or whatever? Like, and it's fine. He's trying to get him on screen. That's all good, right? But it's just a matter of, like, they're all just saying, oh, well, you work with JCW. Then the one guy's like, thank God it's not about corporate greed. The fuck are you talking about, man? It is about that, right? He wants to make money. You guys know that, right? Like, Jesus Christ.
I really appreciate when we.
He doesn't not want to make money,
I
right?
love doing wrestling every week.
All right. Well, we've got it. We're just.
I wish Tony Khan bought WWE. At least he cares about the wrestlers and the fans. That's a fact. Holy fuck. So he wasn't going to go to Saudi? Oh, really? So he wouldn't charge what they're charging for and sell 18,000 seats at the price they are for Raw if he could, if he owned it? Are you sure about that? I don't know about that, fucking sickos.
Are you sure about that?
Rolling through them right now as you're talking all these great messages to you. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I wish Tony Khan had bought the WWE. At least he cares about the wrestlers and the fans. That's a fact. I think, Tony, as we wrap this up, I said at the beginning, we wanted people to understand we don't dislike AEW. We love wrestling.
Here, they might have converted someone. This guy goes, I've never watched an episode of AEW, but if TK is working with Russo, I will give a full episode a chance. I did the same for JCW.
And maybe there's a misconception,
a
little bit of you, and I think that we've done both of those things today. So thank you for the time, and you are welcome to come back and have another conversation. We'd love to do it again.
They just all think it's going to result in an AEW JCW crossover. Like, why would Tone, like, he might send someone there, try and poach a talent, but why would Violent J want to do that either? He might not want to fucking do that. So
I appreciate the
a
invitation.
lot of the juggalos might turn on the fucking on JCW if they do that too. It's just sickos like, oh, I want the crossover.
And I would love to come back. It's been really nice visiting with both of you. I've very much enjoyed it. And thanks for.
Man, I'm loving it. I'm throwing in the towel on WWE, and AEW will get my hard-earned money. At least I feel like Tony appreciates the fans. But it's not about corporate greed, so let me give them my money. I'm not going to give them money. Let me go and give these guys money because they don't want money. The fuck are you talking about? We all want money, you don't. Like, these are fucking. Oh, my God. My God. I'm telling you, man. The IWC, bro.
Poor people don't like AEW.
Bro. Oh, man. Poor people don't like AEW.
For having me on, and I'm sure I'll see you both again soon. I want to wish you both
man.
good luck. I hope you
Never
both had a
fails.
great Easter, and I hope I get to see you both again soon.
I hope so,
Thank
too.
you, Tony.
All
Thanks
right.
for
Thank you,
coming on,
Tony.
man. It's awesome.
We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
That is one and only AEW president and CEO Tony Khan. And as I told you, I appreciate all the super stickers. We're not going to go through all of them right now. I appreciate them. We do. But we have to get to something. But Vince, I want to get your reaction to. He gave us a lot of time, an hour and 10 minutes.
First things first.
Yeah.
You know, you people listening to the show now, we got a big collective audience. Okay. Several times during the week, I get mostly text messages from Coach, and I get scolded over multiple things. And I always walk away with my tail between my legs. You're right. You're right. It won't happen again. You're right. You're right. This goes on all week long. So I'm given a format today with questions.
We called it. This motherfucker had a format. They had shit written down. Chat was saying that Coach was like, oh, well, like, he's going off script at some points, and it felt like that.
Because Coach don't trust Vinny Roo. So Coach is saying, okay, Vince, here it is. Vince, this is the format. Vince, here's what we're going to do. just so everybody knows, I'm following this format because I don't want literally 5 minutes into this format. I'm looking at this. I'm like, wait a minute. This ain't on the format, coach. Wait, I'm looking.
Like, Russo, haven't you worked in the fucking entertainment business for, like, you know what I'm saying? Yes, you write a fucking format. You have questions. You have things like, in case you get stuck, you can go to this. You're well researched on this. But yeah, you just want to be educated on it enough to flow off the top. So Russo's trying to follow the format. So that's why I'll give Russo the benefit of the doubt here now. That's why he sort of interjected when Coachman's like, 2 things here I want to get to. And then Russo's like, oh, just going off on his own shit. He's trying to bring it back to the fucking format or whatever, however it went. But it's like, Russo, yeah, you don't understand. Like, there's a format and then you can play around. You might not get to everything. Every question on the fire. I know he's not a journalist, but like, Jesus Christ, you wrote television, bro.
Through what? So don't
like live
ever,
television
ever send me a format again if you're going to go into business.
Okay. No. Two things.
Dare you?
Two things. First and foremost, I am a trained interviewer.
I know that.
I literally took classes doing this.
I know that.
All right. So I learned that number one most important thing is listening, and sometimes you pivot your questions. That's number one. Number two, that rundown was for you. It was not for me.
You got Vince Coach.
He wrote it out like Vince Coach, just like we fucking said. Oh my God, that is hilarious.
I'm going by this, and all of a sudden,
now Coach is coping. The coping bro, right? He's like, fucking, oh man, it was for you, not for me.
We're on question 9.
Because I wanted to make sure and keep you.
Was I good, Cole? Was I good?
You were. Let me say this, because we have over 5,000 people watching live right now.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Like over 5,000.
That's nuts.
So here's where you were great. Is that I think my takeaway is Tony is every bit as nice as people say that he is. I think that we got more out of him than anybody else ever has, and I think that with you giving your experience before the questions, that made him think a little bit.
I don't think they got more out of him than anyone has. I don't think they really did.
And I think he's going to go back and he's going to use some of your.
Let's think about it for a second. It's on par with Ariel. It's not like Ariel didn't ask him about the punk shit and things like that, you know?
Vice. So for that, I thought you were awesome. I
thought, and listen, Tony and his PR guy may still be listening, and that's okay. I'm going to be honest with you, Coach. I was a little concerned at the beginning because I think at the beginning we started getting.
So his PR guy was on there with Tone as well, being like, don't answer this, don't say that. So Tone's like listening to whoever his PR guy is during all these appearances now, so he doesn't embarrass himself.
Mm-hmm. You know,
I tried to jump in there. Yeah.
The Tony Khan answer interview, but and this is why, Coach, I mean, honestly, this is going to be.
Which is smart. That's not a knock on Tone. That's actually like good. He should be.
Was kissing Tony Khan's ass. No, what Vince was trying to do was use humor to lighten Tony up. Tony, like, and Coach, I think if you look at the beginning of that interview, by the time we got to the end, we're having a conversation with the guy.
1,000%.
I don't know. It was still just surface level answers. Vince, you guys were trying to convince him to fucking start shooting on WWE again, which he shouldn't do. He shot that down. It was a lot of surface level answers. You didn't dive into the Dave stuff. Like, man, you understand, you call him on the phone like that's a black eye on Aid. People think that's whack. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I kept going to these little different things to kind of get him out of, because you got to be, Coach, let's call it what it is. He's probably done thousands of interviews with that response. He's got the set response.
Oh, he does. He does.
He's so used to doing that. And this ain't a Tony Khan thing. This is anybody who goes through the media and has 1,000 interviews. After a while, bro, I got 2 interviews after this, Coach. I know what they're going to ask me, and I know how I'm going to answer. But I think we were getting now is a little concerned, and that's why I'm like, we gotta We got to loosen this guy up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think he was great. I mean, Coach, even when you said we never heard that much about the meeting with Shane McMahon before.
Not at all.
I don't know if anybody's ever asked him about his bid for the. I don't know if anybody.
Well, that just happened, guys. So the bid thing just happened. You're his first interview since then. It was like a week ago that happened. A and B. Or that it came to light that he bid. Like, obviously the bid was in 23 or whatever, but like nobody knew about him putting a bid in until now. So yes, no one's asked him. Like, you're correct on that, but it's not like some crazy thing. And then the Shane McMahon thing. Yeah, we've never heard him cope and stooge pretty much how, I can't believe somebody took a picture of us in that room. It could have been anyone. Could have been a wrestler. Could have been like, okay, it was your intern. You set that up so that someone would walk in the room and snap a picture of you. Everyone knows that. That's why you cope for 4 minutes about it. Yeah, we never heard him do that, but that's what everybody speculated already, that it was like a setup to get a picture with him type thing. So like, yeah, it just, that shit goes without saying, right? People want to know like why he hedges his bets on cage match ratings and Dave Meltzer and interacts with some of the sickoest motherfuckers who spread the bullshittiest shit. And how the fuck are you an owner of a company you don't know the max numbers? How does that make fucking sense, bro? Like, don't you feel like Warner Bros. Is working you if that's the case, or are you lying to everybody? And again, it's tough. You don't want to just be like aggro and not make him come do another interview again or whatever, obviously. And I understand you don't want to be confrontational, but like, again, you eased him into it. If it was really this like, oh, I don't think anyone's you guys didn't really press the Shane McMahon thing. That was 3-4 fucking years ago. No one cares. Nothing came of it. So no one gives a fuck. That was like 2 years ago or whatever, right? It was at the beginning of everybody thought he was supposed to lead the Moxley thing or whatever during the whole heel turn or the heel run, which was like a year long. So that's like years old news, bro. Like no one gives a fuck.
He's ever asked him that.
Crazy.
Right? Well, by that point,
and he was asked about Shane McMahon. He was asked about Shane McMahon.
I'm seeing the chat, and the chat agrees with us. Producer man, throw a few of those up real quick, because the chat agrees that we got more out of it. You got Oma, which is rare. And that's the thing about that you guys need to understand in interviewing, that if a person feels comfortable, but also you have a respect. And he clearly respected us from what we've done in the business. And I'm not shading anybody else, Vince. But when you just have a regular person asking him questions, he's going to come and go. He's going to come and go and never think about that show or that.
Regular person. Listen to how they're fucking talking about people. Oh, regular people. Vince Russo said he hasn't watched AEW in 5 years and then proceeded to talk about how he studies Tony Khan and what AEW is doing. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Again. And I think with us, he started.
When you have guys lobbying for jobs, that
second. Not only are these guys not what Meltzer said, and by the way, I take pride in that. Yeah. Why would you go on their show? How about having a show that people want to go on instead of sitting in front of a gray wall? But whatever. And I think he realized, wait a second, these guys aren't coming at me, but they're also not giving me fluff. We didn't give him fluff. We asked direct questions that people want to know.
Yep.
That's it. That's it. So, all right, we've got to end it. I apologize. Normally we read all.
Yeah, guys. So that was fun. This was a PWT run-in. I just figured why not. There's about 300 watching across X and YouTube. Shout out the PWT universe. I dropped a reaction video, patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes. I dropped a reaction video to Botchamania 15. It's like a 47-minute long video. The first Ultimate X match is in this one. The King of the Ring, Shane McMahon, speaking of Shane McMahon, and Kurt Angle. So check out your boy Philly Phil and JJ Alexander reacting to that. Don't forget after the stream to hype the video. Like all that good stuff. Patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes. I'll see you guys tomorrow for PWT live show. Make sure you're there. The regular Wednesday live show. Shout out Coach and Bro. Shout out Tony Khan. Peace and love.
Every booking is golden, you see. Perfect cards crafted for you and me. Yeah, the best guys, Tony Khan is true. Triple cup, best damn booker in the land. 3 red cups stacked up, always in command. Triple cup, living legend of the fight. Just a call away from making it right. Never see him back hard, no way. Got the whole roster locked in for the day. A Crimson Tower, modern art. Triple cup, triple cup. Every booking is golden, you see. Perfect cards crafted for you and me. Yeah, the best guys, Tony Khan is true. Triple cup, best damn booker in the land. 3 red cups stacked up, always in command. Triple cup, living legend of the fight. Just a call away from making it right.